guilty of crime.
All right, you guys are going to have to give me a second. Hello. I can't tell if you guys can hear me or not. Hold on. Okay, so I've got a new setup. Everything's working. Hello, I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me today? Is everything good? Hello, hello, hello. I can hear you. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if I can hear yet. I got these new headphones in and a completely new setup, y'all. So I'm glad that you can hear me loud and clear. Let's hope that that happens all the way through, y'all. Let's hope that happens completely all the way through. And today we're talking about Jennifer Soto. Is she ever going to be arrested, guys? And how in the heck has the public shifted about the Madeline Soto case with Stephan Sterns and Jen Soto and that new body cam that came out? And even though that body cam that came out, nothing's new in it. I see every single station playing it. So I'm like, hey, what's going on here? So while you guys do that, do me a huge, huge favor, guys, and take that like button down there and hit it while I'm getting this set up. Perfect timing for me to set it up. And if you guys could only see my setup, you guys would be blown the frick away. Yes, hashtag arrest Jen Soto now. So what do you guys think about that? What do you all think about what is going on right now? Everything that I've seen you guys pretty much all day long. I've seen you guys on lots of different channels going over Jen Soto, going over the video. I went over it with you guys, and we kind of thought that Jen was shielding Stephan Sterns, didn't we? We thought she was shielding. So it will depend on Stephan at this point. What do you guys think? I mean, we should talk about that, and then we're going to get into the video. I'm trying to drag it out. Hello, everybody, while I'm doing this, because I'm trying to find my content. I'm not even on the right account right now, so I got to switch accounts so that you guys, so that y'all, we're going to be able to not watch stuff with. Oh no, not this again, you guys. Why is Google like that? I wanted to be on time for you guys. And so, yeah, here we go. I did this, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Um, YouTube really wants to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do, right? All right, let's see what we got today. I just need that video. I thought he was hovering to monitor. Okay, Carol, you thought he was hovering to monitor her. I see that a bit. I do see it a bit, but I mean, what other things did you see in that video that we didn't see before? Did you see her facial expressions when they wanted her phone? Is that what you saw? Did you see when she was handing the phone out that she didn't really want them to come in? And it was like at the very, very bitter end where she said, well, sure, come in. And then they kind of cut it and then came back. That's what I want to know from you guys. So let's talk about that. I can't really play anything because I'm looking for my full experience. If you guys don't have a membership, do me a favor, get a membership pretty please. Because I'm gonna have a members only probably at the end of this week, if not early next week, and I really want as many people as I can have in there. And I can see you guys over here doing that. I can see you now. I can see the people in green. I can see all you folks. So while I find my video, you guys do that. Luckily, this thing downloads in seconds, you guys. You wouldn't believe it. All right, while it's downloading, let's talk. Okay, everybody. You saw fear in her eyes. Did you see fear in her eyes, or did you see that she looked high as a kite? Did it look like, and they did say she was coming out of her bedroom. Do you think she was panicked? Do you think she was fearing something, or do you think that she was all the above and she was trying to keep them out so they weren't coming in? What do you think about that? Oh, you think she was really high? She looked really high, but she also looked like she knew that she didn't want the officers in there talking with Stephan, and that if she gave them the phone and said, "Here, take a look at these," that it would kind of keep them out. So, welcome to see some of you guys. Dropkick says panicking. Yes, I finally got everything going, and so now I should be able to rock and roll with my video. All right, you guys. So now I'm going to ask you another question before we get started. How does this look, and how do I sound? Now I see you in here, Bree. I can see you in here. You know, I got still a little bit of cold. Bree, you always tell me, how does the sound and what does the quality look like? I just got this giant Omen computer, and I wish I could show you it's lighting up its graphic cards and all that. Okay, she's guilty for sure, you say. Now, with the trials coming and witness lists out, do you think that she's going to be on the top of the witness list? And you say, what is the quality? You look great and you sound great. Everything sounds and looks good. Okay. All right. Yeah, Bree. There she goes. Kind of crazy. Okay. And you guys notice I have different headphones now, so you guys can you can see all the gray hairs. I'm not covering up my head. I have the headphones, but now I can talk to you without those big headphones on. And I'm freezing today, guys. I'm freezing, so I'm wearing this shirt. All right, let's get into it, man. I am so excited for this week. I have so much to talk to you guys about. You have no idea. So now that we're ready to start, do me a favor, hit the like button. Since is doped, she didn't want them in, blocking the entry, acting shifty, on and on and on. All right. Yeah, well, Bree, I got the background. You know why? Because guess what? I got the background going because this computer is going to kick ass all the way to get us to 50,000. So if you guys want us to get to 50,000, I've got two Naziah. I need you guys to remember Naziah's name. Naziah Harris, Madeline Soto, Naziah Harris, and Sebastian Rogers. All of them went missing around the same time. Now, Sebastian and Naziah went, or I'm sorry, Sebastian and Maddie went missing the same day. Naziah is in that time frame, and I need you guys to remember her name. I have lots of different creators calling her Zanaya. It's Naziah. Okay, I'm not going to let you forget her. So, that being said, let's get into today's episode. Today, we are actually we're going to do a live Q&A at the end of my show and listen to what these people say. Now, Orlando News brought the 6-part series on Madeline Soto's, I'm going to say, life and death of with that. But I want you guys to see how now Jen Soto is portrayed, in my opinion, as the next Casey Anthony. Now I'm going to try to hopefully that they don't say too many of the words that are like murder and no. So I'm going to try to say, guys, come on. I might like block them out a little, but you guys we don't need to use that language in order to get what we're getting done. All right. So thank you. Nazaya. Remember her name. Nazaya. Not Zanaya. Nazaya. Thank you. Okay, yeah. 6-part series. We're going to do this together now. Marley Mum, a lot of people haven't seen this. I'm very surprised that only, what did they have? Was it 11,000 people? Yesterday it was only a few hundred. I didn't have time to go, but today I did. All right. Today I do. I just did the Diddy one. I want you guys to think what's going to happen with that video. And that being said, let me tell you this. What about these videos, you guys? Now, this is a different, thank you for no spoilers, Marley Mum. I see a lot of new people in here today, and I see that you guys aren't wearing green. So if you guys know how to wear green, can you put on some green? And Snee, one of my favorite girls, just gifted 1 Guilty of Crime membership to the crew. So thank you. If you guys have the means, I just bought this. I had to return the other computer, and this computer, guys, I hate to say, it was $1,150. I'm crying. I tried to get away with a lesser computer, but yeah, my computer cost $1,150. Got some earphones, and I'm all set for you guys. So if you have the means to donate, it's going to go right back to Guilty of Crime. I appreciate you. If you can't, no shame in your game. And I love you guys. Let's get into it. Okay. If you guys can get green again, please do. Thank you, Snee. Let's go. No spoiler alerts, please. All right. I'm praying that this is going to work well. All right. That's my singing. Volume on.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this special live stream examining the disappearance and murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. I'm News 6 investigator Mike DeForest. It's been nearly a year since Madeline Soto failed to show up at Hunters Creek Middle School. Her mom's one-time boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, has pleaded not guilty to raping and murdering the teen. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to take a look at this case. We're going to take you inside the police investigation, and then at the end, hopefully be able to answer some of your questions.
I don't hear anything. You can hear it? I don't hear shit. All right, hold on. These might not work then.
Hello, Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Deputies go door to door in search of missing 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Hi, have you seen this child? No.
She's been missing yesterday since 8:30 a.m.
You guys hear it, huh?
Is every parent's worst nightmare.
That news conference was held here at the Orange County Sheriff's Central Operations Center. Now, unbeknownst to the reporters who were gathered inside, 2 key witnesses were also in this building that day being questioned by detectives.
Would you like water?
I have to figure this out.
I'm okay for now, thank you.
Okay.
In one room, Stephan Sterns. In a separate room, Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto.
They're very similar. They're both very childish.
All 3 events took place at the very same time here as investigators sought justice for Madeline.
Anytime we have like a missing juvenile, we certainly look at everyone that has contact with that juvenile.
While Orange County Sheriff John Mina was speaking to reporters, Sterns voluntarily waited in this interrogation room, puffing on a vape pen and attempting to set up his brand new cell phone.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Sterns' original cell phone had been seized by detectives the previous day. That phone contained photos and videos of Sterns sexually molesting Madeline, according to what investigators told the 13-year-old's mother in a nearby room.
I can't hear anything.
We have these images, and unfortunately, over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, he's been doing oral sex, vaginal sex.
I can't say anything,
and things like
I can't
that.
hear anything, guys.
You guys.
We have photos. We have his phone. We were able to get into his phone. Did you ever suspect anything like this? No? You okay?
How are you feeling right now?
All right, guys, I can't breathe. She said, all right, did you guys hear everything? Now I got it. I'm glad you can hear it. I'm just figuring this out. I had to plug it right into my computer, and I promise I'll get this down way better, okay? I can hear, what do you mean you can hear both feeds? As long as you can hear me and you can hear, then we're good to go. All right, I need my commentary, so I'm going to start back, and let's go. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. There are 200 people in here. Do I want 400 people in here? Yes, ma'am, I do. Let's go.
First news conference.
This is every parent's worst nightmare.
That news conference was held here at the Orange County Sheriff's Central Operations Center. Now, unbeknownst to the reporters who were gathered inside, 2 key witnesses were also in this building that day being questioned by detectives.
Would you like water?
I'm okay for now, thank you.
Okay.
In one room, Stephan Sterns. In a separate room, Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto.
They're very similar. They're both very childish.
All right. So her talking about them being childish, I always had a feeling that Jen Soto felt like Stephan and Maddie were teenagers that were in love and she was taking care of them. Now, I don't know why we're not sharing links here, but Bree, can you do me a favor and share a link with these people? Michelle says I'm not getting a response. Other people are asking for links to join. I know we're down a couple of people today, so thank you, Bree, for that. And yeah, you guys had to bear with me for a second. I can't watch chat, fix my headphones, and plug a new computer in. So I love you guys, but I can't multitask that hard. I promise I just spent $1,150 on a new computer and headphones for you guys. I don't stream anywhere else but for you. So thank you. All right. Oh, I noticed a lot of true crimers have lower numbers. What does that mean? Okay, I'm here. I'm ready to talk.
All 3 events took place at the very same time here as investigators sought justice for Madeline.
Anytime we have like a missing juvenile, we certainly look at everyone that has contact with that juvenile.
While Orange County Sheriff John Mina was speaking to reporters, Sterns voluntarily waited in this interrogation room, puffing on a vape pen and attempting to set up his brand new cell phone.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Sterns' original cell phone had been seized by detectives.
This is not even the right one, guys. I put the wrong one on. Oops. All right, let me put that one on. That's okay. That was our test run, y'all. I love you so much. All right, that was my test run for you. This man, I need him to get the death penalty, and so do you. All right, let's pull this off and pull the real thing on. Luckily, we didn't have too many people donating or anything yet, especially my bad. All right, let's go. Now this is the real deal.
Her mom's.
All right, let's go, people. Let's go. 44.
Investigator Mike DeForest.
There it is.
It's been nearly
Brand
a year
new.
since Madeline Soto failed to show up at Hunters Creek Middle School. Her mom's one-time boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, has pleaded not guilty to raping and murdering the teen. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to take a look at this case. We're going to take you inside the police investigation, and then at the end, hopefully be able to answer some of your questions. So take a look.
Well, I'm going to answer your questions, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
Hello, Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Deputies go door to door.
All right. By the way, I just saw a little bit of breaking news, folks. Sebastian's mom got caught lying. Is that breaking news or is it not? I'll tell you guys after, once I find out behind the scenes. Let's hope so, because I got a mind-blowing Sebastian Rogers episode for you guys. I know we're doing Jennifer Soto. Will she be arrested? That's what we're going to talk about today. I really do think that something's coming for her, you guys. Things come in waves, and things are starting to wave out, and I'm hearing things behind the scenes, but I also am hearing about the Sebastian stuff behind the scenes, and boy, do I have some information for you. I wish I could do all episodes at one time. So we need justice for Madeline Soto, Sebastian Rogers, and Naziah Harris. All right, let's go. I'll tell you more about it after. This is what the police did door to door, day one.
In search of missing 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Hi, have you seen this child? No.
She's been missing yesterday since 8:30 a.m. in the morning.
I have not seen her.
Less than a week later, authorities found Soto's body in these woods just outside St. Cloud. Investigators say the 13-year-old had been sexually molested and then strangled to death by her mother's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns. In this video series, we'll show you how law enforcement investigated the teenager's disappearance, and you'll see what prosecutors are doing to seek justice for Madeline.
All right, and I'll leave it on there for a second because we do have more paperwork and more things coming real soon. I want you to know that when allegedly speculating kicked up all that dust in the air in the crime community with that new Madeline Soto body cam, everybody got their asses moving, including us. And Breeze put some more FOIAs out there. Hopefully Carly can take a look, but I know there's something coming out. All right, video sound is low on justice for Madeline. It sounds way high on mine, but that's okay. I'm going to adjust it high. We've got a kick-ass computer, you guys. Not to fret, my friends, not to fret. Another funny thing is I just did all of that, and it says, guess what? We've completed work in your area. Your internet was garbage. Are you still having an issue? No, I just spent $1,200 on a new computer, but thank you. All right, so will Jen Soto be arrested? Is she ever going to get arrested? And Laureen Balson, my girl, 279, thank you so very much. Everything helps. Let's keep going. I mean, I got a lot to say today, guys. Justice for Madeline Soto, arrest Jen Soto. Something big is coming, guys. Something big is coming. You guys can use those potatoes. I've got potatoes now. I've got real potatoes in your, if you're a guilty of crime member, Tara, let's go get your potato going. Get your potato. No, actually, you guys deserve that new computer because you guys deserve quality streams. All right, I'll turn it up.
Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police possibly reporting a missing child.
On February 26th, deputies were called to this office near Soto's school where a relative happens to work.
Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So my daughter was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it.
Here they met Soto's mother, Jennifer, and Jennifer's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns.
Didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today, and she never came out. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged the teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
The couple told deputies what Madeline had been wearing.
Green hoodie,
Green hoodie.
white Crocs,
White Crocs.
either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts.
Yeah.
Black shorts. Okay. And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know what time?
All right, and as we go, folks, tell me, do you think that Madeline Soto walked out of that front walkway? That's what I want to know from you. Do you think Stephan Sterns was able to get her out of the front door because she walked out of the door, they got in the car, and in the car he strangled her? Or do you think that he took her life somewhere in the morning when somewhere late at night, early morning, and carried her through Jen's room, lost a crock? Jen was there and perhaps helped him to dress her. What do you guys think? Thank you so much, Ashley. You're amazing. Thank you, girl. Thank you. I hope I get to meet you guys at a convention at some point. I do plan on going to a crime con or something like that. So I want you to know, I don't think that she walked out of the door. I think Jen Soto helped Stephan Sterns dress Madeline Soto, and that's what got her confused right here when she's talking about what she's wearing. I think she had shorts, some black shorts And then she also had that hoodie on, and she didn't realize that the pants were over. I think he carried her out, and Jen helped, and that crock got lost as he was carrying her through that room. Yeah, I couldn't breathe always has bothered me, folks. But now that we know she was strangled, where do you think that came from? Now we know. It's asphyxiation. And a Crime Con's going to be in Denver this year, Colorado. One other thing, I heard another channel talking about the blood that Madeline Soto had in areas. She had a little bit of blood around her neck. She had a little bit of blood on her hands. But most importantly, she had blood on her private parts, folks. Now, if you believe what the family says that doesn't want us to talk about her pregnancy, if you truly believe that the family says, hey guys, she wasn't pregnant, get off that pregnant kick, then she was on her period, and that's what I believe the blood was from. Let me know in chat. Let me know if you think that blood was from her being raped one more time by Stephan Sterns, or did she start her period? If you didn't know that there was blood in that area, I'm telling you right now, I want to know what you think about that. I know I just threw a bunch of stuff. We're still talking about Crocs here, but she had blood in her areas, guys. All right. Guilty conscience speaks volumes. I can't breathe as an example. She has lots of guilty knowledge. Listen up.
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
Although you heard Sterns say we dropped her off, he and Jennifer Soto later told investigators that Sterns was by himself when he brought Madeline to school. Sterns says the 13-year-old was embarrassed of his car and wanted to be dropped off right here, a few blocks away from Hunters Creek Middle School and right across the street from a church.
So it's like around where these communities were.
Okay.
And it's just like in this section.
That night, Sterns showed deputies the spot where he says Madeline got out of his car, a silver Lincoln MKZ.
When I left her, she was on the other side of the street, rummaging through her backpack and just kind of moving towards the school area. So it looked normal.
It's gonna be hard to tell whether she went left or right.
A sheriff's K9 was brought out and given some of Madeline's clothing to sniff in hopes of tracking where she might have gone.
I don't know if she was trying to walk back home on her own or she was trying to go to her friend's house.
But after 15 minutes of searching, the K9 was unable to pick up Madeline's scent.
So weird. I'm gonna find people, bro. It's your job. Literally your only job. Find people.
At the nearby church.
So what that shows is that Madeline was never there, guys. She was never there. Stephan never dropped her off there. He never came close there other than to try to show the cameras, hey, I'm over here. And yes, Jen Soto, I posed that question. Jazzy, did she know nothing or does she know everything? There's no in between, guys. It's the Woody Allen situation. She either knows that they were having a Woody Allen situation, which is still not consensual. It can never be consensual. But in my opinion, in her sick mind and in Stephan's sick mind, her and Stephan and Maddie had a relationship, a non-consensual. At one point, it feels like it might be consensual because when you listen to Maddie talking to Stephan all the time and you listen to Maddie's friends tell you, man, she was on the phone all the time, FaceTiming with Stephan. If they weren't together, it sounds like Naziah. The more you get into it and the more that comes out, I'm wondering, folks, what text messages are we going to see from Maddie's side? Do you think we're going to see things from Maddie's side like, hey, Stephan, I'm home. I'm not wearing anything. Is there something particular you want me to have on? Or maybe nothing at all? Do you think there was dirty talk going between them guys? What do you think?
A deputy viewed surveillance video that showed a girl being dropped off that morning.
Wait, there's a person.
Nope.
Getting out of the car.
Due to privacy laws, authorities have put a black box over the computer monitor so we cannot see the video ourselves. But detectives later showed it to Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto.
I mean, the quality's terrible.
She could not say whether the video showed her daughter or Sterns' silver Lincoln.
Does that look familiar at all?
No.
You don't know that anywhere?
I don't know that part.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Detectives questioned Madeline's friends at Hunters Creek Middle School.
She had never told me about anything about her running away other than her saying if she were to run away, she'd go into the woods.
But they did not know where the 13-year-old might be.
What can I do for you?
We're here regarding a missing juvenile. She's been missing since a missing juvenile.
Deputies canvassing nearby neighborhoods could not find any witnesses.
What do you
So,
mean?
have you seen this girl?
No. I'm not
Madeline
sure.
celebrated her 13th birthday with relatives the night before she vanished. Her mom, Jennifer, was at work and did not attend the party, but says she caught up with Madeline at the condo they shared with Sterns.
So you last saw her Sunday night about what time?
I would say 11 p.m. before she went to bed.
Okay, so again, I'm going to emphasize on this. She says 11 before she went to bed. Jen Soto didn't make it home until about 10:30. So if that is correct, she got home at 10:30, ran upstairs. There's no way they had time to show gifts, go over the money, do all the do. No possibility. However, we know Stephan Sterns at 11:49 was already logging into or logging out of Telegram. What does that say to you at between 11 and 11:49? In 49 minutes when she sent Stephan and Maddie upstairs, he was already taking those pictures, doing that? Or was Jen involved in that? Nobody's ever said anything about Jen that night. Everyone assumed that she was in her room downstairs by herself, like she says, sending them to bed, which means she didn't. Yeah, watching Sister, I only heard that one or two times, but most of the time she leaves that out of the story. What was she doing in those 30 minutes? And did after the 11 o'clock, did they come down to her room? Did she go upstairs? What was she doing at that time? You think accidental overdose? I think that the strangulation rules out the accidental overdose, but it would contribute to strangulation because if your heart's already slowing down from sleeping pills and you're maybe doing rough sex, that can contribute to strangulation a lot faster. But her hyoid bone was broken, guys.
And you were here at home? Gotcha. And where did she go to bed? Was she in her room, your room, or something else?
We were all going to sleep together in the same bed, but I needed some good sleep. I got a new job recently. I haven't been well rested. I needed some sleep. So I asked, hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs?
These crime scene photos show that guest bedroom, which has one bed in the corner and locks on the door. Sterns told police he and Madeline went to sleep here and then got up early the next morning for school.
Woke up around 7:15, somewhere around there, which is an early start for us, but we had talked about getting McDonald's breakfast beforehand, so we wanted to make good time. We did make good time. We got out the door maybe 7:30ish, 7:45ish, maybe.
Okay, so that gives you a good idea. And now they do have that. The officers do have the records that she probably left out of the front door at 7:30, 7:45ish. But I wonder if there's a camera that shows him carrying her out. That's what I want to know, because they didn't know that she wasn't alive other than what they revealed to us by her being in the car with her mouth open and looking deceased. So how did he get her out of that house without Jen noticing, dropping a crock clearly, and the roommates he must have missed them by 15 minutes or so. That's what I want to know. Made it late. Hey, never better late than never, and we just started. Don't worry about it.
Got over to that area. She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there.
When they got to this McDonald's, Sterns told detectives that Madeline was no longer hungry. So he says he continued down the road to Hunters Creek Middle School, about a mile away from here. After dropping Madeline off at school, Sterns says he went to a vape shop across town and then back to the condo. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll take you room by room inside that condo. You'll hear Jennifer Soto describe her family's sleeping arrangements, and we'll show you why detectives believe someone was secretly taking photographs.
All right, and we're going to talk about all this. This is a new episode that just came out on News 6 with a Q&A, and basically it's us going over everything that we know up until now, because I'm telling you right now, I have a feeling that this is coming in waves, and there's a next wave of information coming, folks. There's a lot of information in this case, and we haven't had anything new in quite some time. So I know everybody's got their paperwork filling out. I know Bree does. I'm sure Plunder does. I'm sure Plunder said, dang it, I missed that one. Allegedly speculating got it. So I know everybody's working to get new information, and I have a feeling it's coming, guys. But my question to you is, that being like a brothel, how was that a brothel in the middle of upstairs? How did they get away with that? Now, they did get away with it, folks, because there's so many pictures of her having sexual pics, whether she was passed out, whether she was partially asleep in that room. But where was everybody else? Do you think it was over when maybe she was supposed to be at school and she wasn't there? Wasn't some of this during COVID time? How did that happen? And you know what? What we watched earlier, folks, I got to tell you, that video that was playing, that's been playing everywhere from the body cam. Do you know what Stephan was doing? He was washing laundry. When the cops got there that night and they knocked on the door and Jen handed her phone like this and was swiping, Stephan ran from behind, making sure everything was okay. Did you know he was washing laundry, folks? He had never washed laundry or done chores, but he was washing laundry the night the cops came over. So I want you guys to know that. All right, and Bree says, I think the roommates were so busy living their lives, working and coming home to crash, and did things on the weekend, were able to get away with it. Everyone was gone except for Jennifer Soto. Now, we're going to talk about this under the door. They missed this, but how did they miss the other things happening in the middle of the floor? That's a good observation. But where was Jen Soto? How do you do that in an open floor, open room? How do you get away with that?
Underneath one of the bedroom doors.
Bed, all three of us.
But Jennifer Soto says she would occasionally send her daughter upstairs to sleep in a guest bedroom with Sterns. That room has one bed in the corner and locks on the door. This is where Sterns reportedly spent the night with Madeline just before she was reported missing.
Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room? Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs.
Two additional bedrooms rented out by other tenants are also upstairs. Detectives say they found nude photographs of one of those tenants on Sterns' cell phone. According to investigators, Sterns had placed his phone under the tenant's door, similar to this, and snapped images of the naked woman in her bedroom. Detectives say Sterns' phone also contained images of him sexually molesting Madeline. According to authorities, bedding from Madeline's makeshift room downstairs can be seen in the background of those molestation videos.
All right, now let me tell you something real quick. There's different rooms here, and I think we get confusion as this goes. Now, that's the room that is the room where that has the computer, and is that the one that's wide open? See, I'm even getting confused. That's the one that has a computer where Stephan Sterns and Jen Soto sat there chatting while he was deleting his phone. Okay. Now, the other room with the white, everything all white, that's the one with the locks that Stephan Sterns rented out. But Desiree, the roomie stated she kept her door open. That was the roommate that kept her door open before the abuse ever started. So there are different rooms. That's a makeshift room downstairs. Now, the makeshift room wasn't downstairs. The only room that was downstairs was in Madeline okay, the only room downstairs was Jen Soto. Okay, the white room was upstairs. All rooms were upstairs except for Jen Soto's, which was down. All right, so someone says in the living room, but I believe this is the room that had the makeshift thing that looked like a brothel that was in the middle of the top floor. All right, so okay, that was Maddie's room, but Maddie's room is right in the middle of the floor, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. The makeshift room is downstairs for real. No, that's Maddie. That the makeshift room is not downstairs. Everything is upstairs except for Jen's room. Let me listen, Bree. The roommate that kept her door open was CN, and one's room was downstairs and Jen's was up. That was then. But abuse wasn't documented until after she left. So this is the makeshift room here. They're all upstairs. That's what you're saying? That makeshift room was next to Jen's room near the dining room. Okay, well, if that's the case, then Marilyn says, Jay, no, I'm a visual person. So my whole point is, why didn't anybody see something happen in the makeshift room? If that makeshift room was downstairs with Jen Soto, then right there's a telltale that Jen Soto and Stephan Sterns and Maddie were the only ones that were in that room downstairs. You can't ignore what was happening because there's no doors. And then the other 3 rooms are upstairs. Okay. Sometimes I get confused by them because you got Stephan's upstairs, the one that's with the gun. Ooh, I shouldn't say that. The GUN, and then you got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the makeshift. Okay. All right. I'm just then either way, there's no way Jen couldn't have known because this was right in the middle of the floor, guys. So that tells you right there. Okay, yeah, perfect. You're right. Right next to the dining room, open. It's an open floor, open plan, and the only person that would have known anything would have been Jen Soto. Okay, so there you go. There's another reason why Jen Soto needs to be arrested.
Videos. Detectives say this pair of men's boxer shorts found in a laundry basket in Madeline's room also appear in the sex abuse images. Crime scene investigators collected this notebook, which has sexually explicit drawings that are sketched.
All right, and that's the one we talked about the other day. Many people didn't know what the heck I was talking about when I said that. But if you look at that, it's clearly her math work. She deletes some things, writes and you can see there's a BJ, and then up top there's a girl with her legs open, and then below that you can still see the math problems. Okay, so a lot of people didn't understand what that was. That thing was right out in the open, guys. When they were collecting evidence, and it wasn't hard to find. Yeah, it's all right. I'm all good, guys. Yeah, hit the like button, and let's get this thing in the algorithm. This is a bit crazy, and we do need Jen Soto to be arrested. When you put into perspective that Maddie's room was dang right smack in the middle, and you see all the pictures with her being abused, where was Jen Soto? Yeah, so much
on the same paper as algebra equations.
On Sunday night, y'all went to bed around 11, and the reason that you sent her upstairs with Stephan was because
yes,
you had work in the morning, was it? Or you just started a new job?
I just started a new job, and I haven't been sleeping well. I take psychiatric meds every night for my bipolar disorder, and if I don't take them the right way, eat, and go to sleep on time,
they don't work.
They don't. Sunday I was not myself, so I asked them, like, hey, I need to be medicated, I need to sleep, take care of the morning duties so I can go and sleep.
According to investigators, Jennifer Soto sent a text message to Sterns at 11:39 that read, "Make sure she goes to bed right now." About a minute later, Sterns replied, "She's built her nest and she's settling in now."
What time did you wake up? I'm going to say around 8.
And 9 minutes later, he's on that app, guys. Did you see that? Literally 9 minutes later, he's either logging in or logging out of that app. Jeez, guys.
8 o'clock in the morning, Stephan came into the room.
When Jennifer Soto woke up, she says she thought Madeline might still be in the condo.
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was exactly.
Yeah. Gotcha. It could have been any of the roommates.
Jennifer Soto told detectives she never actually saw Madeline that morning and assumed Sterns was taking her to school.
I had an appointment. I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15, but they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15.
Okay. When you got back, was Stephan here?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Sadly, by then, detectives believed Madeline was already dead. But where was she and what happened to her? Before investigators could answer those questions, they discovered Sterns took a mysterious round trip.
And before we get to that, okay, so at that point, Madeline Soto was in the back of that trunk while Stephan Sterns was in there chatting with Jen and deleting his phone. And when I say deleting it, he did a hard reset to it twice. And at that same time, I believe, in my opinion, that Jen was also cleaning up her phone. So any messages that she had with Stephan or she had that didn't sit right with her or that she knew when she handed to the officer were going to look funny, she deleted those. I'm almost positive. Thank you so much, Desiree. I appreciate you. Elenzina, thank you for the $4.99 super sticker. All of you guys, thank you so very much. Wow. I mean, every time you look at this, you just learn more and more, and you think one more thing. Now, Foxy says throwing up a couple of dividers doesn't make a bedroom, Jen. It doesn't make a bedroom. And it doesn't even make a perfect room to be doing the abuse in, because so many of the pictures that they found that are in evidence have those things in the background, folks. Wouldn't that be great if they were to go back and look at those pictures and see Jen right behind one of those dividers? You know how sometimes you look at a picture 100 times and you don't see it? Where was Jen? She said that she didn't leave Stephan Sterns and Madeline Soto together very often. It was rare that he was babysitting her. What's up, V. Louise? Good to see you. I'm glad you found it, the channel too. Welcome to the crime crew. We're all love. All right, let's keep going. And all right, let me hit the play button. Let me know how the volume sounds. It sounds really loud to me, but somebody said they couldn't hear it.
Trip drive to Southwest Florida early in the morning. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll show you where detectives say Sterns went that night and what investigators think he did there. Town of Northport, which is located between Sarasota and Fort Myers. Sterns has occasionally lived in Northport at his parents' home.
He waited until she went to sleep and snuck out. Not long after we all said goodnight.
Christopher Sterns told detectives he had no idea why his son would drive to Northport in the middle of the night while authorities were still searching for Madeline.
I don't know whether to say I'm flabbergasted or impressed at Stephan's endeavors. Well, he was, as far as I knew, he was going to pass out at 3 a.m. Yeah. It did take me long to crash and burn, and then to find out that he made this round trip to Northport.
Originally, police thought Sterns could have stopped by this storage facility in Northport where his dad rents a unit. At the time, detectives believed the teen may be deceased and her body might be located in the storage unit. But when investigators searched the facility, nothing was found.
Why would he spend nearly 6 hours driving round trip to go to Northport to the storage unit?
Detectives think Sterns traveled to his parents' house that morning where his mother, Deborah, was home alone. She told police she never saw her son.
You know what stopped him from getting in the house? He didn't have a garage door opener.
While searching her son's bedroom here, Deborah Sterns told detectives she found a torso of a sex doll. According to investigators, she initially believed it to be real, prompting Sterns' mother to run outside and begin calling out Madeline.
All right. So quickly before we get into that, and you remember when that happened? It was a shocker to everybody. Everybody was like, "Whoa, what happened? Are they telling? Did Jen do something? What is her body there? Did what? All right." So that was a big kind of just information nothing burger that came out, and I feel like the parents started to realize that people were looking at them in a bad light, and so they were going to start talking bad about Stephan, which I don't blame them, but at the same time they were talking to him on the phone. I think they both knew that their son was a predator, a monster, a PEDO, and they came to the realization that he probably took her life. Now, Period. I'm going to try to answer this the best I can. Does anybody know how long it takes to get from Stephan Sterns' parents to the condo? I'm not understanding how long it took so long on Sunday. I believe he was scoping out a place to dump. Now, he had already done that. So you guys from Northport to Jen's place, are we agree that it was about 2 hours? It was about 2 hours and it could have been more, Perry. And so that was a 2.5 or more. Thank you, meandering. That they just said that was almost a 6-hour round trip drive, and he was there for 10 minutes, you guys. So he wasn't looking for anywhere to dump the body. He knew exactly where he was going to dump the body, and he was headed that way, minus the flat tire. The flat tire came and changed everything. I believe he knew exactly where to go. I believe Jen told him exactly where to go. I believe he was headed towards the Gators on the way to where Jen Soto's old condominium used to be, and it didn't work. It didn't work because he got a flat and he got lazy. Now, he had to, because someone could have walked up to his car and said, "Let me help you, buddy." Open the trunk and there's Madeline Soto. So it was a long trip, and I do believe that that trip was so that he can get as much evidence as he can get. He was going to go grab that hard drive, but he didn't do what he needed to do. Him using the internet, that was a fake story. He was trying to get as much information as he could to toss. Yeah, he was gone for 6 hours. 6 freaking hours, and luckily that tire came. That was absolutely a miracle flat tire. And not to say anything, we know God watches out for us, but a man named Thomas also watched out for us, and he made sure he interjected into this story. So thank God for Thomas that didn't give up. He saw something, he said something, and he reported it multiple times when they ignored him.
His name, but police found no signs of the missing teen in Northport.
I don't know where he got the effing energy, but you're telling me he was down there at 7:45.
Still behind the wheel of his girlfriend's car, detectives say cameras captured video of Sterns heading towards the interstate and beginning the nearly 150-mile drive back to the Orlando area. When Sterns returned to the hotel at 10:55 a.m., he reportedly told his dad he'd gone out for a drive and gotten lost.
He spent a lifetime lying to us, and it's just never gotten better. And he fed me some the other day, and before I left the house the other night, I turned to my wife and I said, "Do we really know Stephan? Can we honestly say we really know?"
While detectives were interviewing Christopher Sterns, deputies took his son into custody on child sex charges. Investigators say they found images on Sterns' Google account that showed him molesting Madeline.
Your son has been arrested for sexual battery. Your son was arrested for sexual battery.
What?
Detectives now believe Sterns gained access to a computer device while in Northport and tried logging into his Google account using his parents' Wi-Fi to delete the images and videos of his sexually abusing Madeline. It was unsuccessful. While investigating Sterns' Google account, detectives say they found evidence that someone did multiple searches for sevoflurane, an anesthetic that can put patients to sleep before surgery and can cause hypnosis and amnesia. Someone apparently wanted to know whether sevoflurane will show up in a drug test.
Now, I got to tell you guys this. I don't know if you guys are, well, most of you guys are true crime junkies like myself. Did you just hear about this case recently that happened? And it happened in another country where this monster of a husband DRUG'd his wife and had man after man after man come and have sex with her, and she had no idea what was going on. He was charged with that. Again, this was in another country. It was in France, thank you. And he was convicted of it. But how in the heck does one not know when they're now? I could see if they, maybe they were gentle or whatever, but yeah, it was an older woman and it was her husband. He was putting out ads and sending men over to sleep with his wife, and there's a good possibility he was using something like that. So I think that Madeline Soto was given things like that to maybe ease it, or so she wasn't making noise, so she wasn't screaming, so she couldn't really say the next day exactly what happened. And thank you so much for the 99-cent super sticker. Choo choo. You guys know all counts. If we had all 20,000 subs putting 99 cents, that would be great. It'd pay back for the computer, which I love, by the way. No more skipping. Thank you guys. Why was he surprised his son was arrested when he had already received the message from Den telling him? Exactly. His response seemed very calculated. Excuse me, what? Not only that, guys, but once his parents started talking, they completely started talking and saying, well, Jen and Stephan would sleep together with Maddie. I thought it was weird. They kept saying she can't sleep alone. Stephan would sleep with Maddie. They knew what was going on. They all failed her, guys. And yeah, it depends. It depends what's being used. Yes, thank you. Let's Giselle Pellicot, the woman abused in France. I believe something like that, what was happening to Maddie, was something happening to like this lady. There's no other way you can get away with that. And yeah, the dirty boxers, that was the room that they found most often where Stephan abused her in, you guys. And yes, Kimmy Dawn, thank you so much. We remember why we're here. Rest in peace for Madeline Soto. We're here for the victims, guys. Gotta keep that in mind that we need justice for Madeline Soto.
Those Google searches were conducted less than 2 weeks before Madeline vanished.
The impression is that he loves the out of her, and he was very upset Monday when he was talking to me. He was sobbing and blaming himself for her disappearance.
Weeks after his son's arrest, while Christopher Sterns was cleaning out his storage unit in Northport, he told authorities he found a box of his son's belongings that included 2 USB drives. Detectives say one of those USB drives contained over 35,000 images of child pornography. None of the images were Madeline, according to police. Stephan Sterns was...
And remember, I should have corrected that. It's not child PORN, guys. It's not consensual. It's called CSAM now. So try to remember that. If you hear someone say something like that, just correct them politely and say PORN is only created between people that are consensual and adults. CSAM is child material, abuse material. So when you're filming a child, it's abuse. It's abuse. All right. There's nothing that's PORN about it.
Was arrested for sexual battery 2 days after Madeline had been reported missing. Although investigators believe the 13-year-old was dead, they did not know where her body was hidden. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll show you how detectives located the missing teen's body by tracing the movements of Sterns' silver Lincoln and Jennifer Soto's white Nissan.
And I got to tell you, they did want to arrest Jen Soto, people. They tracked them diligently, and I'm so glad that they did. They moved really quickly. They just don't have enough evidence yet to arrest Jen Soto. Will she ever be arrested? And how is the public shifting? How is the public outlook shifting on her when you see this on News 6, which is Florida? It's going to be local to her. Every grocery store she walks in, they're going to recognize her face. This case has become international, which we want to happen. Of course, we want justice for Madeline. We want this to happen for other children. And I want especially to say Naziah Harris because this relates so closely. Remember for 6 months, I said from the beginning of the case, France and the poor lady showed how long ago that one person not knowing, and she was an adult. Think about Maddie, a child. How could she grasp? P.S. I passed my test. And P.S. Congratulations, Synth Server. Woo! Everybody cheer for Synth. She's been trying to pass her test. That's why she stopped doing the do for guilty of crime. I say, get your butt out there and study, and you did it. Congratulations, Synth. I knew you could. Jen just played stupid. Yeah, but they need hard evidence, and I hope that they find something soon because, in my opinion, the evidence is I sent my daughter to bed with him. That's the evidence that I think is strong. They went into a great deal in the trial in France. As to the husband and the wife, there was no evidence, including cleaning her while she was not. It's such a crazy, crazy case, and what a crazy world it is. I wonder what toxicology is going to say if we ever hear about it. And the whole pregnancy thing. The reason I think that she's not, guys, is because mimicking this case is the Naziah Harris case, and they're making it very abundantly clear that she was pregnant without a body.
A police canine trained to detect the scent of dead bodies checks out a silver Lincoln MKZ belonging to Stephan Sterns, the last person to see 13-year-old Madeline Soto alive. The dog does not appear to notice anything unusual. The canine handler then brings the dog over to a white Nissan Sentra belonging to Soto's mother, Jennifer. According to investigators, the canine alerted to possible human remains near the rear passenger wheel well. Earlier that day, authorities arrested Sterns for sexually molesting Madeline. At that point, investigators believed she was likely dead, but they did not know where her body might be. So detectives used license plate readers, surveillance cameras, and other investigative tools trying to bring justice for Madeline.
What was she last seen wearing?
Green hoodie.
Green hoodie.
White Crocs.
White Crocs.
Sterns told investigators he and Madeline woke up in their Kissimmee condominium.
And still, she only had one white Croc, guys. The other white Croc was in Jen Soto's room. And a lot of people get confused by that. They say, why were there two pairs of Crocs in there? I saw two Crocs and then I saw another one. They were different sizes. Well, guys, families do that. A lot of families do that. They buy their shoes, they buy Crocs or sandals, and they all look alike, but they're different sizes. So in my opinion, her not knowing, how did she not know that the Crocs were missing, but only one of them? And that was the size that Madeline was wearing. I cannot believe it. And yeah, my next episode's coming up is going to talk about this. Naziah's grandma and aunt knew she was pregnant, and they also have messages that said they all knew that. That's why they're talking about the pregnancy and her missing and everything else is happening, because it was very well known. But here, they know. The toxicology and the autopsy's out, and I'm telling you, the family has access to it. They're the only ones that has access to it. So I say it echoes this case quite a bit, and I think if she were, they would absolutely have let us know. They would absolutely make a deal about it. And I think they would have already upped the charges for taking the life of another person, which would be a baby.
Early that morning, climbed into his silver Lincoln and headed off to school.
We made such good time. We were so impressed. We made such good time getting out the door. We were probably out by 7:30, 7:45.
But at that very same time, 7:30, detectives say surveillance cameras at the Venetian Bay Village's condo complex captured video of Sterns putting trash into a dumpster. Deputies later followed this trash collection truck to a sorting facility. In the trash, deputies say they found Madeline's backpack, her school laptop computer, and one white crock.
Nope.
According to investigators, a matching white crock was located in the bedroom of Madeline's mother.
Yeah. Sleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there.
Sterns told detectives that Madeline was not awake during much of the drive from the condo to Hunters Creek Middle School, located about 6 miles away.
Do you remember what time you dropped her off?
I estimated it to be sometime between 8:20, 8:40.
But at about that very same time, 8:19 a.m., detectives say surveillance video shows Sterns and Madeline returning to the condominium complex through this security gate. The female appeared to be completely slumped over and with her mouth ajar, investigators wrote. They believe she was dead.
I talked to him. He showed me his little clicker. And he's like, hey man, I'm clicking, it's not working.
This security guard says he opened the gate to allow Sterns back in.
Just remember there was a woman like sleeping beside him with a green shirt.
Did you see her move at all?
No.
Okay, she was just still.
Sterns never mentioned that he returned here to the condo until detectives confronted him about it. His explanation contradicted that security guard who says Sterns had a gate clicker.
I had forgotten something. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot I had gone back to the house real quick after we left. Because I forgot my gate clicker.
Did she go inside with
I mean, I gotta tell you, nothing that he said has been true. Everybody, we all know that now, and there's a reason the officer said, "Did she go back in with you?" She already saw the tapes by now. They knew, and they knew. At this point, they were looking for the body, and they were trying to collect as much evidence as they possibly could, and they wanted to implicate Jen Soto. They still want to implicate Jen Soto, folks, but if they don't implicate her, they're going to use her. She's going to be their main witness. And when I say main witness, don't say, Jay, she's a liar. How could they use her as a witness? They're going to use her as a witness because they're going to take her phone. They're going to do that dump. They're going to make her say again. They're going to make her repeat the Woody Allen thing. They're going to ask her a question about that. And she's going to say, well, yeah, I didn't know they were sleeping together, which they can't really sleep together because it's not consensual. But she's gonna say, Maddie couldn't sleep at night, and she always wanted Stephan to be her, cuddle buddy so she can sleep because she couldn't sleep at night. And I was so afraid. I was so afraid that that's what she's gonna say. They're gonna make her talk about that Woody Allen thing again. They're gonna get as much information as they can from her. I promise you, or they wouldn't have done that with the lawyer and that one-time immunity. There's a reason for that. Thank you, Jamie. I haven't seen you in a while, Jamie. I'm gonna say Jamie K. Thank you so much for the $1.99. It all helps. If anybody has the means to match our girl Jamie, please do. Nancy Jean, my girl, always helping a sister out. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker, guys. And please, and thank you for being here. Hit the like button and do come tomorrow because I need you guys to see the things happening out there. They're all echoing each other and they can be prevented, everybody. These things could be prevented. All right. Yeah, I think Jen was very jealous of her daughter. We hear the way she talks about her. Jennifer Stoner's always trying to justify what she did to Maddie. Absolutely. But they don't have a solid piece of evidence until Stephan Sterns talks. I have a feeling he's going to throw her under the bus, guys.
with you?
No, she was in the car still. She was asleep.
Where in the car?
Passenger side.
Sterns told investigators he left the condo again and took Madeline to school. But instead, it appears he came to this area around SeaWorld, miles away from her school. At 9:02 a.m., investigators say those traffic cameras up there captured video of Sterns driving through this intersection with Madeline's lifeless body. At 9:35 a.m., cameras at an Orlando office building reportedly showed the silver Lincoln entering this parking garage. According to a report, Sterns can be seen moving Madeline's body from the passenger seat to the trunk of his car, which was filled with other belongings. At 10:14 a.m., cameras captured the Lincoln returning to the condo again. Detectives asked Sterns why it took him nearly 2 hours to get back from Madeline's school.
Can you explain it? I wasn't going anywhere in particular. I wasn't doing anything in particular.
At 12:19 p.m., security video reportedly shows the silver Lincoln leaving the condo once more. Using images of the car from license plate readers and traffic cameras, investigators say they can prove the vehicle traveled east from Kissimmee along US 192 towards St. Cloud. According to detectives, the last documented sighting of the Lincoln was near Hickory Tree Road.
Now, before we get into it any further, Sherry Krause, I agree with you 100%. I think they've dug and dug and dug and dug and dug. And it's not that far that they need to dig. It isn't that far down they need to dig, because right off the bat, she tells every single one of us that she sent her daughter to bed with a guy that she wasn't with and that she knows likes butt stuff and has other kinks that she's not into herself as a grown adult. She just doesn't like it because she doesn't like stuff like that. But yet, knowing she's not giving Stephan Sterns anything in that manner, she hands her daughter over. So, I mean, right off the bat, that's child neglect. That's, I mean, we've named it. But what I'm saying, by one piece of evidence, if they can find one piece of evidence with Jen Soto on a picture, maybe in a reflection, taking a picture, or in her room right behind that damn partition, something. They don't have it yet, because if they had it, she would be arrested, I promise you.
Road, where it turns south off 192. That just happens to be about 9 miles from the spot where investigators would later find Madeline's body.
I had a couple errands to run over on 192.
While driving to some stores in Kissimmee, Sterns says he got a flat tire, but he could not tell detectives exactly where he stopped to put on the spare.
I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank as any specific businesses or names.
These police photos show the rubber tire was completely shredded off the wheel. While changing the tire, Sterns says he injured his hand. That tire change delayed Sterns from returning home, he says, so he could not pick up Madeline after school. Instead, Jennifer Soto headed out alone to get her daughter.
Well, I went to pick her up from school today, and she never came out.
Jennifer Soto reported her daughter's disappearance to law enforcement that evening, launching the missing child investigation. She and her boyfriend then returned home, but Sterns reportedly did not stick around.
Stephan went out sometime in the middle of the night and went searching, cruising around to see if he could figure out where she might be.
What car was he driving?
My car.
Detectives say they have images showing.
And did you hear how careful she was when she said searching, cruising? Now tell me, why would a mother, you guys want to talk about that? Why would a mother not go with her boyfriend, whatever, her future guy that she was going to bring in and help him out? Why wouldn't she go with Stephan Sterns to go find her daughter? Why wouldn't she go cruising to look for her daughter? Because she needed sleep? Because she sure wasn't working the next day. But she was very careful in the placement of the words that she used and how she words them. Yeah, they definitely got to stick to that script, and they sure do. But she didn't. It's not what she's saying. It's what she's not saying. It's what she's not saying. She should have been out there that night.
In Jennifer Soto's white Nissan, leaving the condo around 3 a.m. and then taking the exact same journey towards St. Cloud that Sterns reportedly made hours earlier. A police canine indicated the Nissan may have come in contact with a dead body at some point. Sterns denied knowing anything about a late-night trip in this car.
I don't recall us going anywhere last night, but I honestly, that point, my brain was mush, and I was on so many tranquilizers.
4 days after Madeline's disappearance, Kissimmee police asked the community for help pinpointing where Sterns may have changed the tire of his silver Lincoln.
If anyone saw this vehicle or noticed anything suspicious, we're asking that they call Crime Line.
Hours after that news conference, a witness came forward claiming he saw a man who resembled Sterns changing a tire right here on Hickory Tree Road. Just a few feet from here, over that fence, and in those trees back there, investigators found the body of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. The medical examiner determined she had been strangled to death.
Stephan Sterns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto.
The state attorney's office interviewed Jennifer Soto after her daughter's body was recovered. She said she did not know Sterns had been molesting the 13-year-old and did not know how Madeline died.
Basically, you have two warrants, so I'll let you know what those are.
Sterns, who faces the death penalty if convicted of killing Madeline, has pleaded not guilty to more than 60 criminal charges, including child pornography possession, sexual battery on a child, and first-degree murder.
Yep.
Stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com for future developments in this.
Oh, we will.
Sterns' original cell phone had been seized by detectives the previous day. That phone contained photos and videos of Sterns sexually molesting Madeline, according to what investigators told the 13-year-old's mother in a nearby room.
So
I wish they would not use those words so that we can get this into the algorithm and everybody and their mom can watch it. I hope that happens. YouTube's funny like that sometimes. And Lisa is me. Thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Sharon Belko, shout out to you for everything you do all day, every day. Just love you, girl. Sharon's my Leo twin. You know about those Leos, right, guys? And thank you, Montana, for the $1.99 super sticker. There we go with Grimace again, and lots of trigger warnings, you guys. Lots and lots of trigger warnings. She has a disgusting face, but something behind that face tells me and tells us that she knows a lot more, and they just need one piece of evidence to get her arrested. So let's keep hoping for that and see what they dig up. I think Stephan Sterns is going to come in strong. I think he doesn't want to play his hands. He's told his parents, I can't say anything yet because they asked me not to talk until trial. And the parents said, well, isn't it a little too late to wait until trial? But they got something. They got an ace up their sleeve, guys. He does not want to be on death row. I'm telling you that right now. Now, Undead Robin says she asked to see them again at the end. I could not imagine asking that. Me either. Why would you want to see your child performing acts on your on again, off again? V. Lewis says, I know about those Leos, Jay. My dad was a Leo. Well, I'm glad you don't hate us. You either love Leos or you hate them. All right, let's keep going. What's an FID card? I'm not sure what they said about an FID card. FID. Maybe you guys can answer that. She does look busted right there. I know, Kylie, you love your Leos. Yeah, you either love them or you hate them.
We have these images, and unfortunately, over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, he's been doing oral sex, vaginal sex, things like that.
What makes you guys?
We have photos. We have his phone. We were able to get into his phone. Did you ever suspect anything like this? No?
She said no.
You okay?
How are you feeling right now?
I mean, you can see what she's doing, guys. She's thinking. She says she can't breathe. FID, is it carry license? Maybe. I'm not sure what they said. FID, guys. If it comes up again, I'll let you. If that's what it is, then it's a carry. It's a conceal carry permit. I thought in Florida you couldn't conceal, though. An FID or fire. Okay, a firearms identification card. It's a permit to own a fire card. This is her right there. This is her reaction to them saying, "Did you know about it?" And she could have said at that point, "Well, that's when I was afraid of the Woody Allen thing," but she is thinking, guys. You see her, you see the think eyebrows, the thing, what do they call those? The ones, the 11s, whatever you call them. That's what it is right there. She's thinking of what to say next or how to relate to it. So watch her. Watch her think some more. What are you thinking?
Is this a surprise?
Is there photos of her?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to believe that this is true.
And she was
Can we
whispering.
see some of that evidence?
As Sterns was taking a nap nearby, detectives described the graphic images to Soto.
I literally thought I was coming here for the press conference, but this is not what we're here for.
I know, and it's unfortunate that these are the details that we found.
I believe you when you talk to me about those images.
Mm-hmm.
Those images might be real, or they've happened, but I don't believe they're related to this case. It's possible that his story might be true and somebody else could have taken her. Like, I'm just thinking, like, what if we're focusing, like, okay, the sex things happened, right? But what if that's completely a side thing and not having to do with this, like her missing?
At Soto's request, detectives agreed to let her see one of the photos allegedly recovered from Sterns' cell phone of Madeline being abused.
Right
Sterns' face could not be seen in the image.
Is he being placed under arrest because of those pictures?
Yeah, we haven't made that determination yet.
So what do you think should happen to Stephan?
I'm afraid to say press charges, but what else? There's a side of me that wants to say he's innocent, that this isn't happen, but who else's penis could that be? She's not left alone with anyone else.
And why would they be on his phone?
Yeah, why would they be on his phone exactly? Can I make one decision now and change my mind later? If I decide not to press charges now?
I mean, guys, she's completely not worried about. She's absolutely not worried about her daughter having sex. She's 13 years old. Had it been another boy, had it been Stephan, and she kind of had an idea, right? Let's say she didn't know anything, but she just had an idea like, they're a little too close. Or maybe she walked in a room one night and Stephan was just, pulling it out or putting it away, or she was, Maddie was getting her shirt on. There's gotta be one point in this case, guys, and I hate to say it to you guys. I hate it. But there's a point that Maddie hit where she probably believed that Stephan was they were boyfriend, girlfriend type of thing. Again, you can't consent. I understand. But I do see children. My daughter goes to a school that's kindergarten all the way up into 8th grade, folks, okay? And I walk into the school to get my daughter, and I sometimes see those damn little 6th graders, 5th graders, 6th graders, 7th graders over there holding hands and making out near the they're not the volleyball, the what do you call that, where you hit the ball and whatever. I see these kids in 6th grade, 7th grade holding hands and making out. Okay, now you shouldn't be doing that with a grown adults. But what my whole point is that when kids are in a certain age, 13, 14 bracket, right before high school and junior high school, they do date, they do make out. Some of them are doing other things. I remember being in 6th grade and hearing the girls that now I call nasty, because my Mama Pearl raised me right. It was not appropriate in 7th and 8th grade to be having sex. But yes, tetherball, thank you. Those kids stand around the tetherball, holding hands and making out. And I'm telling you right now, Stephan Sterns had Maddie so groomed that at certain point with those coins, we should get the baby coins. She thought that was her boyfriend, guys. Okay. And I don't know at what point Jen interjected or if she pretended like she didn't know. And yeah, I wish I could get the tetherball and knock their teeth out. You remember tetherball? I don't know how old some of you guys are if you have kids that are my age, but I see it. I see these damn kids in junior high. It makes me so mad that they're making out at that age, but it happens. It happens, and I think that I think the huge thing that happened with Maddie is she said no that night. She didn't want to do it anymore. She said, Stephan, I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. I like this boy at school. Something like that. She obviously was his girlfriend. Don't get mad at me. But when you watch the Naziah Harris case, Naziah Harris thought her abuser was her boyfriend. They just haven't got in depth in this case the way that they did with the Naziah Harris case. And with the Naziah Harris case, it brings the devil out in me. I want to strangle that guy Jarvis. Okay? But it also makes me open my mind much more to the Madeline Soto case, knowing what was going on behind the scenes and how Maddie thought, what she felt, what she thought about Sterns. It opens up your eyes. And that's why I say, please tune into my channel tomorrow, because when you hear this case, it fills in the blanks in this case and what we don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not the same cases, but very, very similar. I love that you guys are talking about tetherball. I am the tetherball champ. I used to be anyway. Not anymore, but I used to just sit there the whole recess and play tetherball. I never thought about making out with boys. But then again, maybe because I didn't like boys. All right, let's keep going, guys. I want to strangle these kids, and I want to strangle Stephan Sterns, and I want to strangle Grimace Face.
Did you change my mind and press started later?
It's a lot to digest.
Step on. How you doing, sir? That's okay. Didn't mean to wake you up.
Investigators do not believe Sterns got much sleep before this interview. Early that same morning, detectives say Sterns was caught on camera making a mysterious 6-hour drive from the Orlando area to his parents' home in Northport. While there, authorities believe he logged into his family's Wi-Fi and unsuccessfully tried to destroy the sexually explicit images from his Google account.
You have the right to remain silent.
After being read his Miranda rights, Sterns described driving Madeline to school 2 days earlier.
She didn't say anything. She was just asleep. She was just reclined in the chair, sleeping.
Okay, explain to me, like, reclining backwards. Just laying back in the chair. Like that, I guess.
Detectives say photos captured by traffic cameras appear to show Madeline dead in the passenger seat of the car as Sterns drove around the Kissimmee area in the opposite direction of Madeline's school.
Do you have any idea where she may be?
No.
None whatsoever.
Detectives then questioned Sterns about his cell phone.
What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages. Emails. Old stuff.
Pictures?
Yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there?
Trading card pictures, lightsaber pictures, Disney pictures.
So you want to add to the list of pictures?
Thank you. Thank you.
Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
After Sterns requested an attorney, detectives arrested him on charges of capital sexual battery.
Oh, he knew right then, and he knew right there. And I want to thank you, Farah I never want to botch your name, for the $10 super chat. Came in late, but I'm here. Thanks for your work, Jay. Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. Without you, I don't have any work to do. I need you guys to be my people that listen, like, subscribe, share, and get this out there. I have so many cases to talk about, and I'm so excited. I just got this second new computer, guys. Love you. No more Frozen J. We're going to be rocking this year, baby. Let's get this guy to death row and let's get Jen Soto arrested. How about that, huh? Go sign that petition if you haven't. We got lots of signatures, everybody. All right, let's watch this fake guy lie some
and
more.
Possession of child pornography.
And if you could put your hands out like this.
Thank you.
Crime scene investigators photographed Sterns.
If you could open your mouth.
And they collected a DNA sample.
Oh, wow.
Investigators seized Sterns' clothing, which he had been wearing since Madeline's disappearance.
Oh, I almost made you guys pause on his 4 belly buttons. Okay, Novel Finds by Cass. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Can you remind me of the case you were mentioning on yesterday's stream? Listen up. Everybody's going to know Naziah Harris's name. Naziah Harris. And thank you. Congratulations on the computer. I'm thanking you guys for everybody that donated. We will not forget Naziah Harris's name. I'm doing another episode tomorrow. I have another one scheduled the day after. I'm going to deep dive into that until you guys are sick of hearing Naziah Harris. It's like if there was some echo chamber, that case echoes this, but it's 10 times worse because we have so much of the information, guys. Now, Naziah Harris is pregnant and missing, but she's also declared dead, and they're still taking Jarvis Butts to trial. Okay, it's awful. Now go meander over to my Facebook, my YouTube page, and look for Naziah Harris. I have one long video. I have a full, almost 2-hour video, and then I have multiple 10-minute videos. So if you don't want to watch 2 hours, please go watch the 10 minutes. Like, subscribe, and share. That little girl needs justice. So Naziah Harris is who I'm talking about. Yeah, the potato's acting like she's making a dinner order from off the menu. Can I say something now, but change my mind later? No, bitch, you can't. Later, we're going to arrest you.
Don't do anything squirrely, man. You will eat the carpet. Do you understand?
They also took pictures of Sterns naked, so the images could be compared to the sexually explicit photos allegedly found on his phone. 2 days after Sterns was taken into custody, authorities found Madeline's body. A grand jury later indicted Sterns for first-degree murder.
Yes.
Hello, you have a call at no expense to you from
Stephan Sterns,
inmate at
Osceola County Corrections Department.
While in jail, Sterns called his mom and dad.
were you expecting these charges? No. Okay, so you got blindsided by that.
Obviously, it's not true. I never would have wanted her gone for any reason. So, premeditated first degree is kind of
All right, so that gives you a huge clue, guys. He's going to say something. He just said it right here. He knows they're listening in. He said, it's obviously not true. I would never have wanted her gone. So premeditated is like a DICK punch. He's telling us he had no reason to get rid of Madeline Soto. And there's going to be more to come. And that more to come is going to be Jennifer Soto. He's implicated her multiple times. He's implicated her over and over and over. I should say he's implicated her over and over. Every time he gets a chance, him and his parents implicate Jen Soto. And she's on the top of the witness list, folks, whether we like it or not. What's up, Artemis Prime? Good to see you. Yeah, Naziah Harris. Don't forget her name. I won't let you forget her name. Just think of Madeline Soto and then multiply that by 100. You guys will be disgusted. And I'm telling you right now, Naziah's family was involved. They had monetary gain, and they continue to monetarily gain from it. And we're going to stop that. We're going to have a big, I'm sure I'm going to get some awful messages from people, but I don't care. All right, back to Madeline Soto. I know, I saw the chat's flying. Sharon, I feel his dad knew a little bit more about the pictures also. I agree. Those pictures were in his garage, and he knew, and Chris Sterns knew all about that hard drive. So tell me he didn't see those pictures? I believe so. I believe he knew more, and he was with Jen and Stephan the night that went down. You don't think they said anything to him besides asking for a lawyer? You think Jen said, well, I know that they were doing some, there were some inappropriate things going on, but he didn't take her life. What do you think Chris knew? He knew more than that, guys. I tell you right now, he knew more. They all knew that their son was a predator, both of them, Chris and Deborah.
Sterns' father asked about the night Madeline was last seen alive.
It was shaping up to be a great week and a great visit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no reason for anything to happen
Yep.
that happened. We're just at a loss for understanding how all this came about. I mean, we're just totally baffled.
We're going to get into that. I didn't start it.
But you participated in it, which is just as bad as not starting it.
After Stephan Sterns was escorted out of this door here at the sheriff's office in handcuffs, Jennifer Soto was allowed to leave out a side door and spent the night with family. But investigators were clearly suspicious of the mother and dragged her back in for questioning 2 more times.
But you have not shown me one bit that you prioritized her over him. And that sucks.
That's next on Justice for Madeline. She last saw Madeline the prior evening as the 13-year-old went upstairs to sleep in the same bedroom with Sterns.
So the living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird.
Yes.
It's weird to me.
Detectives questioned Soto about how she, Madeline, and Sterns would occasionally sleep in the same bed together.
Did you ever wake up and find them cuddling? Did you ever wake up and find them closer than you thought they should be?
They would snuggle, yeah.
Okay.
But we all snuggle. I didn't think that was that problem.
Okay. So they would snuggle, sometimes him being in his boxers. You would wake up and she'd be in the nook of his arm, or essentially in a cuddling position. And you never found that weird?
No.
Okay.
Soto told investigators she originally did not feel comfortable.
And notice every time she whispers, folks, when she whispers, I feel like she's lying. I also, last time, that was the first time I had heard that it was all good for him to be in his boxers and cuddling. You guys saw his boxers in her room, and you guys know those were some cheap-ass Hanes boxers. Nothing wrong with cheap-ass Hanes boxers. Matter of fact, sometimes we wear those around here as shorts, but they don't have a hole that closes. They have these big, giant holes in them to flop it out, and the rest are just the elastic gets all. Those boxers were the boxers that he was cuddling with Madeline in and waking up with a wood. 100% unacceptable. And lie. She also whispered when she said that to him. So keep that in mind. This room, that's the room that is just disgusting to me, but there's rooms right next to all of it. And the only thing anybody heard was this. What do you think that was?
Comfortable with Madeline spending the night alone with Sterns.
I had a rule. She wasn't allowed to sleep in the bedroom at all.
But over time, Soto says that rule went away.
And I kept telling her no. I'm not comfortable with that. But eventually, at some point, like we really want to watch. I forgot what movie it was. They really wanted to watch something, and I was really tired. And I said, okay, fine. Go ahead.
Sister Act?
It can't happen often. And yeah, I allowed her to go upstairs and sleep with him.
During a police interview the previous day, Soto made reference to a famous filmmaker who is married to the daughter of his former girlfriend.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter.
Oh my God, we're going to do a whole episode on that coming up this week. Whole episode on that. That right there tells you 110% that she knew. Now, Lynette, good to see you. Nice picture there. I don't know if that's you or who. I know a lot of people put their kids or grandkids, but adorable picture, months-long lurker. Welcome. I dig your vibe and how you do this. Keep on keeping on. Well, you too, girlfriend. I appreciate you and all super chat, super stickers, all that helps. Let's keep rocking that. Thank you so much. Welcome, Lynette, guys. Say hi, Lynette. And yes, I don't hate boxers. I don't hate people wearing boxers. I hate people wearing boxers when they're sleeping with little kids. What's up, Wyatt? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, Lynette. Say her name, Lynette. Thank you. Let's keep going. Ugh, ugh. This tells you right there. I love how they show this right now.
The dad grooms the child, and the child then turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him like that was my biggest fear, and I don't ever want that happening. Like you can't do that to me. Like
yes,
because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man.
A few days earlier, detectives let Soto see a photograph.
All right, so now I can picture. I'm a visual person. So we've got upstairs, we've got all the rooms, 1, 2, 3, labeled 4. 4's the one on Stephan's door. This is in the middle, right in the middle. And then they actually do have it covered. If you look at one of them, they kind of cover it. The other one's open. There were lots of pictures inside of there of Maddie being abused. So the only person that was really around that, it wasn't the roommates at all. That was Jen Soto. All right. So just keep that in mind. Lots and lots and lots and lots of pictures were seen in that scenario. They can see the background. They can see the little blinders they had on and all the little identifiable things. So, yeah. And also I wanted to bring up about the abuse in the family and generational abuse, etc. That happened, in my opinion. I've heard that's happened to Jen Soto before. I'm sure that happened to her mom, Yolanda, who made it apparent to Jen not to trust a man. That also was happening in the Naziah case. Every freaking person was abused, especially by Jarvis, and yet they still passed each one off right back to Jarvis. Welcome, Holly. Good to see you, girlfriend. Holly S. Holly S is from Toddy's show. She's a Toddy mod. Welcome.
That reportedly showed Sterns sexually abusing her daughter on the teen's bed.
When you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her?
What you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
It's not fine.
After seeing the explicit photo, Soto says she told Sterns' father to hire an attorney for Sterns.
There, okay.
So he showed you photos of Stephan raping.
Okay, there it was, and I was having a conversation, guys, and yeah, Jarvis did. You guys, Jeep, you're gonna have to be on with me. The Jarvis case. Naziah, Jarvis gave an STD to a 4-year-old. He was going through different cases. He had Naziah, a 4-year-old, and another teenager. Unbelievable, right? So in this situation, I'm actually surprised there were no STDs in this case. Okay, so in this one, I just realized Jen asked 2 people. I had forgot about it yesterday. She not only asked Chris Sterns to get a lawyer, but she also contacted Stephen, her ex, to get a lawyer. So it wasn't just one person, it was 2 people that she wanted a lawyer for after knowing that Stephan abused her in a sexual manner. Yeah, Stephen Young. I didn't just all Stephen, Stephen, whatever. Her ex.
No.
First thought you had is to ask his father if you should get a lawyer?
Yes, he's done this to her, and that's not okay. But I swore I felt in my body she was still alive. She was still out there. I told Chris to get him a lawyer because I felt like you guys were chasing the wrong person. But you weren't. You're not.
We showed you a picture. Whether she wants to do it or not, that is not consensual.
Yes.
And you prioritized him again. You prioritized him by offering him or telling his dad to get him a lawyer. Not what the did he do? Not, hey, we need to figure out what happened. No, let's protect Stephan.
I wasn't shocked.
No, it's not shock. That is your natural instinct to protect Stephan.
I don't care about him. I want him to go to jail. I want the worst thing possible to happen to him in jail. I know what happens to predators in jail. Like, I'm ready for that. Like, please, I don't give a about him. I'm not protecting him.
Detectives repeatedly asked Soto where Madeline's body might be hidden.
If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the you want.
Take one.
I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't.
How can we believe some of the stuff that you're telling us, or believe that you don't know?
I don't know how to say it.
Where's Grish when we need him? We need all those paper towels stacking up, stacking up, stacking up. I don't know how to say it. I guess I'm stupid and gullible and very trustworthy. Well, that's one way to get out of it, huh, folks? Just sit there and call yourself stupid and gullible and you'll get out of it. No problem. Welcome, Lynette Burns, to the Guilty of Crime crew. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. We got lots of Guilty of Crime, members only, and we got some coming up. Yeah, Jeep better, I'm going to have a one-on-one talk with Jeep. Jeep knows quite a bit. And yeah, we're still waiting on Grish part 3 so we can have a whole paper towel. I mean, she's in there telling them right now, this officer's great, but I wish he would have went harder. I wish he would have asked harder questions to follow up with. Because I feel like they do, and then they back up. This is not an interrogation, folks. This is them just talking to her.
I mean, I guess I'm stupid and gullible and very trustworthy, but I didn't think he'd be the type to do anything like this.
During this nearly 3-hour interrogation, Soto provided no details that would help authorities locate Madeline.
Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not quick. I'm hoping this situation is today, tomorrow, Sunday, but we will find him.
Just 45 minutes or so after detectives escorted Soto out of the sheriff's office, deputies in Osceola County found Madeline's body. But even though the missing teen had finally been located, investigators still had questions for her mom. During one final interview at the state attorney's office the following month, Jennifer Soto was given a form of immunity whereby nothing she said could be used against her. The mother insisted she knew nothing about how her daughter died. Jennifer Soto has not been charged with any crime. Stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com as prosecutors seek justice for Madeline and put into office.
All right, now they're going to talk more about Jen Soto, and this is in the Orlando local news. Remember, she hasn't been charged with any crimes yet, and I love that they're putting this locally. I want every single person in Florida locally to watch this. I hope they do. I hope they're sharing. I hope they're passing around to their friends, and I hope every single person that sees her out shopping, whatever she's out doing, I hope they understand that she's not arrested yet, but it is another Casey Anthony. And yeah, I'm fine. I'll be sleeping after this, Bree, but yeah, I'm okay. All right, let's keep going. Please don't fill this. I can't multitask. Oh yeah, Wyatt, you're all good. Wyatt's an old soul. Wyatt's 16 years old, and it's 18 and above in here, unless you're Wyatt and you're an old soul. So we're all good. Yeah, all right, let's keep going. Look at her face there. Something's wrong with her eye. She's got this twitch. All right, let's hear what crap they talk about her. And the new state attorney was elected. Yeah, they got rid of some people on this case, guys. They should have got rid of that Lopez guy that leaked out that photo. They didn't, but at least he's on a list.
I haven't asked them yet, but it appears that the same assistant state attorneys who are actually handling this case and the ones who will be presenting it to the jury will stay the same. And I suspect that still holds up, that at this point, the state attorney's opinion is that the current information only supports the evidence only supports the indictment of Stephan Sterns for first-degree murder.
I know this is another piece of this on her part, on Jennifer Soto's part. What about immunity? I think you sort of answered this online, but I want to talk about that as well. And we hear plea deals all the time in certain cases and things like that. What do we know about whether she was given a deal or something along those lines? Can you break that down?
She was not given any sort of deal, like a plea deal, like you normally hear someone. She was given what is called derivative use immunity. And well, just to start off, somebody could be given blanket immunity, which basically means we are not going to prosecute you at all, no matter what happens. Jennifer Soto did not get blanket immunity. She was given what's called derivative use immunity. And that immunity was given to her during what appears to be her last and final interview. Now, that interview was law enforcement was in the room, but, and I'll talk about this in a moment, the state attorney was in that, and the state attorney was really driving a lot of the questions. The state attorney who's going to be prosecuting.
Now, and I hope he says that, but the state attorney is doing this, you guys, and I'm telling you why, is so that they can use her for a witness, whether she's credible or whether she's not. They want to make sure that when they get her on the stand, that they get her on the stand and first of all, they get her on the stand and she's not, they're not saying, oh, you need to arrest her because she lied or she did this. So they're going to use that. They're going to come back with that information and use that. They didn't do that because they like Jen Soto. They did that because they want her to be a witness. There are new witness lists coming out, and I hope I have access to them soon. All right, let's keep going. Currently 3, 4. I don't know what you guys are putting here, but there's I see numbers in chat.
Stephan Sterns, and who presumably would have to consider whether to prosecute anybody else. But derivative use immunity, unlike blanket immunity that says we're not coming after you, period. It basically says, well, you're familiar with your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can be used against you. In this case, when a derivative use immunity is applied, what you say cannot be used against you. And not only what comes out of your mouth and what you say, but any of that information then authorities cannot go use to go find evidence to prosecute you. During the interview, the state attorney actually explained to Jennifer Soto that, hey, a gun was not used in this case. But if there was a gun and you told us where the gun was buried, we could not just go dig it up based on what you were saying. We would have to get that information from someone else or from another source. So with that derivative use immunity that was given to Jennifer Soto and what appears to be the last interview she did with law enforcement, or the last at least that we're aware of, they could not use anything she said anything she said could not be used against her, but it did not fully close the door on a prosecution.
Now, remember, they only went for like an hour and 3 minutes. It was about, I timed that dang thing. It was an hour and 3 minutes that they used her. And she didn't say anything. She didn't say anything that would incriminate her or would incriminate actually anything, much of anything. But what she did say, guys, and I'll tell you what one of the major things she did say is that I didn't see Madeline that day. There was no we. I was using we as a way to just kind of talk about what was happening that day. And she's so used to her and Stephan supposedly being so close with each other that we, and that's what she was telling them, that we was just like you let's say you talk about your husband and your children. You say, oh yeah, we went to the store, because you're so used to talking about your children, they always throw in a we. That's what she was saying. She made it very clear that we was not a we, and that she was not with him, in fact, when they dropped her off at school, because originally she said that we dropped her off. Do you remember all the we's? She cleared that up in that immunity, that small immunity thing. So yeah, definitely spread love, not hate. Love you guys. Yeah, I'm not buying it, not buying that. I say, I don't think I'm a jail kind of guy. Yeah, I'm not a jail kind of girl either. Sherry says, oddly, Stephan had a weapon, like I mentioned earlier. It was sitting on the passenger seat. That's a good question. I'm wondering, but I think she was already gone by then. So I'm not sure what he had that for. I'm not sure if he just didn't want to leave it in the room or what was up with him.
In the future. Why was this done? Again, I wasn't in the room. I don't know the reasons why the state attorney would choose to give her derivative use immunity, but now this is my personal speculation, is you got to figure this, the state attorney was in the room, and not only would they be looking out for anybody else you could prosecute, but their job is going to be to prosecute Stephan Sterns for the rape and murder of Madeline Soto. And there are very few witnesses to what happened. One of the key witnesses will be Jennifer Soto. And you can also potentially imagine that, and we don't know what Stephan Sterns' defense will be, but potentially his defense could be, it wasn't me, it was the mom. And so prosecutors need to be ready for what could potentially come at them by any sort of defense. And it appears that this was an opportunity to basically give Jennifer Soto one last opportunity to come clean if there was anything she had not come clean about, in part possibly so the state attorney knew what kind of weaknesses she might be as a witness on the stand trying to prosecute Stephan Sterns. Again, that's my speculation based on the fact that the state attorney was there, but that's one possible reason why this immunity could have been granted during that one particular interview.
You know, a lot of the questions are trying to get to the head of Jennifer Soto. I think that's what a lot of people are just trying to figure out, why did she do this? Why did she do that? Why did she say this? One thing that I don't know if you can answer this, Mike, but I did find this question rather interesting, and maybe you can clear up the legal side of this. But somebody asked, why would it be Jennifer's decisions? Why would it be her decision to press charges on Stephan?
It would not, and obviously for time we did have to splice those interviews. That was about a 3-hour long interview. So, but to bring context, if I'm recalling correctly, Jennifer Soto was the one who brought up the pressing charges. It wasn't detectives saying, "Do you want to press charges?" They weren't asking her. She, I think, was led into it by saying, "What would you do?" And she says, "Well, I guess I would have to press charges." Regardless of what she said, in a case like this, Jennifer Soto is not the victim who would decide whether to press charges. It's Madeline Soto. And because at this point, when that questioning was happening, she had not been found. Investigators believed she was dead. We now know she is dead. The state of Florida will speak for Madeline. And so it doesn't matter what the parents want, whether charges are pressed. That's the state attorney's decision. And in this case,
and I'm so glad that he's talking about this. This is important, and I'm glad that they did this episode in Florida, because it gives you the laws in that area. They're going to be different in each area, right? Now, remember, the graphic content that they found in Stephan's phone was not just of Madeline Soto, guys. There were other children that obviously that we're not going to know about. So somebody asked me, I don't know, was it yesterday? They put a comment about Stephan being connected to, I don't remember the name, and I don't remember the guy's name, the Santa, but there are a lot of PEDOs out there, a lot of those pedo rings out there, and I'm gonna tell you right now that Stephan probably did have access and traded material with those people. Therefore, if he had not taken Madeline's life and they saw all the other children, it's still not up to her to press charges. Now, if let's say nothing ever happened and they found out that Maddie was still alive, and they found out that there was some kind of relationship where she's underage and she can't do it, but Jen kind of knew. I don't know. Would they have done that? Not in this case, because it's really big and Madeline's life was taken. And they weren't honest. Yeah, Florida's covered with absolutely they're covered with that. But where did the rest of those pictures come from, and who are those children? Where did he get them from? Is it all online? Is there anything local? I ask myself that. I ask you guys that. I mean, it's a rhetorical question. We don't know.
They took it to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted Stephan Sterns for first-degree murder.
You know, I know this is all discovery. This is what is out there. This is what we know so far, right? I mean, what are you expecting as the trial starts on this case? What else could we learn? And what are you anticipating to learn throughout the trial? And I guess this is a two-part question, and maybe we should start with what surprised you about everything that you went through with this? Anything that stuck out to you that you found the most jarring or interesting as you went through and you poured through all these documents that became discoverable?
Ask me that in a moment. I'll get to what I found particularly noteworthy, and it ties into one of the viewer comments I saw. In terms of the trial, and just so you know, right now, Stephan Sterns is scheduled to go on trial next month. There's two cases against him. One is for the sexual battery against Madeline, and then the possession of the child pornography. That one is teed up first, and it's actually scheduled to start next month. Based on my experience covering these kinds of things, I highly expect that it will get postponed. But right now, it's on the schedule as a jury.
It is on the schedule. They will need to find a jury. I am going to congratulate Synth Serper one more time for passing. I'm so proud of you, girl. That's all I wanted you to do the whole time that you're with us, is pass that damn test that's so hard and so expensive. So thank the Lord above that you passed, and thank you for all the memberships. Now, guys, listen up here. That trial is not going to happen right away. We want it to, and we want to hear it. We want to hear all about it, but they're going to push it out and collect as much evidence as they can. But as it gets closer, I think more and more Jen Soto is going to be implicated into this more and more. Stephan Sterns does not want the death penalty. Now, as far as the SA stuff goes, that's a whole different story. It's out of her hands. She might not even be in that. She might not be a key witness in that part. She will be in the taking of her life because she was there that night. She was there that morning. She was there while Madeline was in Stephan's trunk, while he was erasing his phone and talking to her. So she's definitely going to be key in that case. She also guessed way too easily, guys. She guessed that Maddie was strangled. She guessed about 192, folks. She guessed she guessed about the trunk. How does one guess all those things in a crime that happened to your daughter? How do you guess that? Now, yeah, you can watch her body language all you want. That doesn't not going to do anything for trial, unfortunately. But the trials will be coming, and she will be implicated somewhere. Whether in the middle of the trial, they say that. They can do that at any time. And thank you so much, Parrot, for becoming a YouTube member. You won't regret it. Thank you. And Carol, I always remember you as Bean. Remember the victims. Justice needs to prevail. That's all I do remember here on this channel are the victims. That's the only reason we're here, Carol. We want justice for these children, and most of the cases we cover are children. Hard to do, but it has to be done.
Retrial starting in late February, and I think the murder trial scheduled to start in September. Now, again, the state attorney is seeking the death penalty in this case. Seeking the death penalty always complicates a matter in terms of prosecution and in terms of the defense. And so, again, assuming these cases go to trial, I expect that murder trial to also be delayed way past September. And as you mentioned, yes, this is all of the information that we are getting through discovery here in Florida. We have incredible public record laws, and when the prosecution hands over the evidence to the defendant under this idea that there are going to be no surprises at trial, every criminal defendant knows the evidence that's going to be used against them, in part so if they so choose can build a defense. Once the prosecution hands over the evidence that could potentially be used against a defendant in trial, that also becomes public record, and that's why we're going to see it. And you asked whether we're expecting much more. Based on what I have seen in terms of the documents, it looks like we're getting close to have seen most of it. I know one thing we have not yet seen is any type of medical examiner's report. We've seen detectives summarize that Madeline Soto was strangled
we
to
want
death
that
based on their conversations with the medical examiner, but we haven't seen that report. But I think we have seen quite a bit and a bulk of the information. So with that, you asked Justin what I found most interesting going through this. And for me personally, just being a citizen of Central Florida, take a step back from this actual homicide investigation, I was personally fascinated by the use of the license plate readers and the traffic cameras that are out there. And I just saw a viewer comment saying, thank God for those cameras. Some people may have some opposition to them. And I know there are some who consider that big brother, that the government is watching us. And what I kind of learned, and I've known that these were out there, but you don't see the power of this until you see a case like this, where I don't know exactly how it started, but presumably they took the license plate of the Stephan Sterns' vehicle. It's technically his dad's car, but the car that Stephan Sterns used, they ran that license plate number into a computer system, and I'm imagining in part through AI, they were able to almost immediately see where that car went, not just locations where the license plate was hit by a license plate reader, but they actually have photographs taken from those traffic cameras. And in this case, that's particularly important because in those photos, they say you can see in some of them Madeline's body sitting in the passenger seat. But also key was the location of where this car was seen and the times where it was. And so detectives knew almost immediately that the story Stephan Sterns was giving, that I took Madeline to school, which is kind of northwest of their apartment, he was actually traveling east northeast. And so they knew that his story is not matching up where they knew his car to be. Also interesting with the fact that they could use those, I was surprised just how many down in Kissimmee, which is a very populated area.
Yeah, and before he continues on, thank you, Root Mood Ragdoll, for becoming a member. I just threw a bunch of potatoes out there for that potato, the evil potato, and much more. Now I want to say it's a game changer. Those cameras were a game changer because they had not seen Madeline Soto on all the cameras for that and the license plate reader. I wonder when they put the trackers on there. Now I've seen lots of paperwork, but I didn't notice what day they put a tracker on not only Stephan's car, but Jen's car, and what it is that they were hoping to track. Were they tracking 192? Were they tracking to find out where the body was? Which is interesting because Stephan went back to visit the body and they knew that, but they didn't find the body because of the trackers. They found the body because of the Thomas, the hero that went that extra mile to say, guys, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. I saw this guy. He had these dark eyes that looked sad inside, and he was over there changing this flat. Go look over there. Go look over there. And sure enough, they found Maddie's body. So, I mean, to me, that's divine intervention. But yeah, thank God for Florida and all the tracking and the cameras, you guys. If you live in Florida, watch out.
It's kind of in our tourism area. There were a lot of traffic cameras and license plate readers on these heavily trafficked roads. But at some point down a rural road, you're not going to have that technology available. But what they were able to do was kind of follow him where they could see this car was allegedly going. And then when they lost sight of this vehicle because there were no traffic cameras, now they could start pinpointing the last known location, going door to door to the businesses. Now they know exactly what time he was going and what direction he was going. And so investigators went door to door to businesses collecting surveillance videos, and that's when they could see that Sterns's car had actually turned off the road and was in the area of Hickory Tree Road. And so, although at that point, investigators did not know where the car went from there, they knew that this car had been headed to Hickory Tree Road, which is kind of a little bit more rural part of Osceola County. And so then when they held a press conference saying, we think he may have been in this area, they immediately got a witness tip who said, yeah, I saw a guy changing a tire in that same area. And that's how they found Madeline's body.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm trying to go through these comments as well and see if I miss any of these questions. And I know that as you've been doing these stories, Mike, and this 6-part series here, you've received questions, and I know a large majority of them or the comments have been around Jennifer Soto and maybe the reason why prosecutors haven't charged her or what have you. They kind of center around that. I don't know if there's anything that you've seen just in as these kind of hit the YouTube and hit clickorlando.com. Another question, any other questions that sort of stick out to you that you'd like to address here? And I'll leave it up to you on that.
I think it's just people are interested in this case. They have
Definitely.
been from the beginning, because you got to remember that when this first,
and I'm going to stop on that question or that statement too, because Etta, I believe that as well. I absolutely believe that Jen Soto was involved in getting Maddie dressed to dispose of her body. I think that she put the shorts on, and that's what she remembered. There was a hoodie. She got the green hoodie right, but she didn't remember anything else. Stephan remembered exactly what she was wearing, and Jen came over him and said, "No, that's not it." She had one Croc on. She had Crocs with socks. The socks didn't touch the ground. They looked clean as fresh as they would come out of a washer, with one Croc in Jen's room and one Croc in the trash. So I do believe, and how would she not be involved if she didn't? Or if she did help get Maddie dressed to dispose of her body? I think it's going to come out that Stephan's going to say, whether it happened or not, hey, Jen Soto did this. She started it. We were in the room. She came in hot. She was jealous. She choked her. I tried to stop them. I couldn't. And so I ended up getting rid of Maddie's body to help Jen out. That's going to come out. Something's going to come out, guys. And I'm just going to give you my theory. Going to give it to you nice and clear now, so that when it does come out, I'll say, hey, I look back on the video. That's what I said. We'll see. But that will get her arrested. That's for sure, especially if they have some kind of evidence to tie it together. Now, it's not going to just get arrested if they're in trial and Stephan's lawyer goes up and says, Miss Soto, did you help dress her that morning? That's not going to get her arrested, but something's got to come out to get her arrested. And I'm sure he's going to blame her. He's going to point the finger at her to get off death row. He's already done it. Thank you, JoJo, for the Guilty of Crime membership. I appreciate you. And speaking of that, we got a case to cover, guys, that's hitting really close to home. JoJo, one of her friends, her life was taken too soon by police brutality. She should have never been in that predicament. And I'm not going to say much more, but we're going to cover a case that happened close to home with JoJo Armand. All right. So just say a prayer. If you don't know what you're praying for, say a prayer for Maddie, say a prayer for victims, say a prayer for justice, because this channel is all about justice for the victims, for the survivors. That's what we're here for. The people that do it, it's irrelevant. We say their name because we want them exposed, but it's all about the victims, guys. All right, let's keep going.
First became public. This was a missing child, and sadly, we do hear of missing children. Often they're runaways. Often it's a miscommunication. Mom didn't realize the kid was going over to a friend's house, but they knew right away that it was about a day or so when this finally, the sheriff's office started calling a news conference about it. And so the community was very invested in finding this then missing girl and the questions of where did she go. And as we saw in some of the early videos, I'm always struck by the video of the Orange County deputy with the canine. It's a bloodhound who sniffs out clothing and tries to find where someone was. And they took the bloodhound. This is all under the belief that Stephan Sterns' story, they were skeptical, but they needed to check out what he was saying, which was, I dropped Madeline off just outside the school. So they bring this canine over there, and the dog is not hitting on a scent. And my guess is that the canine handler was kept oblivious to the background of what other detectives were finding. And so you can kind of see she's joking with the canine, the handler, joking, say, hey, dude, you got one job, find a person, and you're not finding anything. Why aren't you helping me? And you can tell she was being lighthearted about it. But as we now know, investigators don't think Madeline was ever there, and hence why her scent would not have been picked up. Anyways, back to the whole community was invested in this. And then, of course, once we learned the horrible news that Madeline's body had been found, and the questions now surrounding not just her mom, Jennifer, but particularly her mom's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, who's the one and the only one who's currently facing criminal charges in this case.
All right, we got a couple more questions here, Mike. And I think you addressed this one from.
Now, before we get off that, I mean, these are great questions to answer, especially if you're in the Florida area and you don't understand the laws or you haven't been invested in this case in the way that we have, just because maybe you didn't come across it yet. But before that, I want to say I am me. Remember, Stephan Sterns said he went for a walk to let off some steam. So I think Jen took Maddie's life. Stephan Sterns went back upstairs and they started putting their plan together. That's another key factor in this point. Now, Stephan's not talking. Jen is a little bit, but I agree. Another thing about that, something happened that morning when he says he went back for that dog leash. Some exchange happened between him and Jen that morning, which is really weird because at other times she said she was never awake at that time at all. One moment she'll say she was awake. My dog's saying hi. She'll say she was awake and he walked in real quick. And then another time she'll say, no, I wasn't. I didn't wake up till this time. So there's some weird exchange, not only that night when he went to go let off steam. I also wanted to address the whole somebody brought it up earlier. Oh, I forgot what it was. The dog just threw me off. I'll get back to it. Yeah, they're saying hi. All right, let me hit play real quick so I can see what they want. Probably dinner.
Erichon 74. Will there be more released about her cause of death? That's something that we anticipate could come out during trial, perhaps. And so you covered that. JPL asked, is it true that it was a bloody scene? Maddie had blood on her neck. And I don't know if that's part of what's been released and what you have with these documents that have come out.
I have not personally seen that. The only description I've seen of the condition of the body was that it was strangulation. Now, normally strangulation doesn't cause blood, but we have, again, that's now going into speculation. We have not seen the actual medical exam.
All right, so there it is, and this is what we're talking about with blood. Now, yes, normally strangulation doesn't cause blood. We just don't know how much blood and where it came from. Now, I do recall them talking about the blood and her having blood in the area of her private areas. And like I said, I'm going to have to trust in the family when the family says, stop talking about her pregnancy. She wasn't. They're the only ones that have access to this at that point. And so I've got to say that part of it, I believe, was she started her period. Now, the rest of it, I'm curious. Where did that come from? Let's see what he says.
Examiner's report. I want to touch on something too that I have seen some questions about. Keep in mind the time frame of detectives are questioning Jennifer Soto, they're questioning Stephan Sterns, but particularly Jennifer, and then also some of her teachers and friends. Madeline's teachers and friends. And the questions, particularly with Jennifer, start coming to Madeline's menstrual cycle and whether she had missed a period. And you can tell that detectives are wondering whether Madeline was pregnant. They seem to really be kind of going that direction in some of the questioning. Now, keep in mind, Madeline's body at that point when that questioning is taking place, they have not found her yet. One could potentially read into that questioning that perhaps investigators thought a motive would be Madeline either being pregnant or at least the fear that she was pregnant, because again, investigators believe that she had been sexually active with Stephan Sterns. And so there was questioning about Madeline being pregnant. Now, we have never seen the medical examiner's report, so we do not know for sure. However, one thing that did strike me right away is here in Florida, it is a crime to kill an unborn child if you were to harm or kill the mother. And so we have seen this on occasion where if a pregnant woman is murdered, the defendant is charged with 2 homicides, 2 counts of first-degree murder. That is not the case in this. Stephan Sterns has only been charged with the murder of Madeline Soto and no unborn child. So that is.
And folks, it's been how many months now? What are we on? 10 months now? I know every time I come on here and I'm like 9 months, 10 months. If you track Sebastian's and it's just easy to cross reference between the two, there would be no reason for them to not have brought that up. Now, I know there's something in Florida that says, hey, if they're not this age or whatever, then they don't get charged. But I gotta tell you, between the family saying it and between this guy saying it and between him not being charged, I don't think she was pregnant, guys. But I can tell you something. They could have been scared that she was. And I think many people ask me, well, Jay, why do they bring it up so many times, Jay, why were there pregnancy tests inside the condo? Well, there are a lot of women inside there, and many women that I know have old pregnancy tests. So they'll buy themselves, they'll go to the dollar store, they'll go to Target and buy themselves. They usually buy like a 3-pack or a 4-pack because they're, double checking. They want to make sure, and they keep it under there. Jen Soto never said that she didn't check for herself. She didn't sound like it was there were pregnancy tests in there. What? How did I not know about it? No, it sounded like there were old pregnancy tests laying around, and yeah, there were a couple in there. So it could have been a scare. You guys, this reminds me now. Okay, Stephan Sterns was in a tizzy, what I'll call it. He was in a frenzy or a tizzy on Saturday, and the week before, he not only said that he was all out of order and distraught and taking extra medication because he felt all whatever, but his parents said it. And yes, I heard that Jen called her parents and said, we need Stephan to come down here. What was that for? What was that about? Was there a pregnancy scare? And if there was, that means Jen had to have known because Jen's the one that called. What was that about? So I pose a bunch of questions. These may be rhetorical, but with the whole pregnancy thing, there's so many things that point to her not being, but not necessarily not being a scare. How about that? Now, Leo, you never kept a pregnancy test at home, but then again, you took birth. But many women that I know do. My wife and I have been married 20 years, and we don't just go around. We don't ever sleep with men, and yet we still have or had pregnancy tests until the roof fell in because we had a baby, we had Reese, so we needed pregnancy tests. Sometimes we keep them over, and we've had friends come over that say, oh man, I think I might be pregnant. Oh hell, honey, there's a pregnancy test. We still have one in there from a long time ago. Go check it. It's common for women to, in my opinion, do that. I've seen it. I have lots of friends that are girls, and they're not all gay. So just saying. And they expire, but they still work. I don't throw stuff away that I still have old ass COVID tests that I use. Do they expire? So what? My vitamins expire sometimes, and I still use those. I mean, it's just one of those things. It could have been a scare. Do I think she is? No. And I'll hold to that. And if it comes out and I'm wrong, I'll say, sorry, guys, I was wrong.
Why my belief based on that is that is probably not the case, that she was not pregnant, but it was definitely some of the questioning before her body was found. And we see a lot of viewer questions about that. Again, I think folks are waiting to see what that medical examiner report says, but there has been speculation, and at least that's the Florida law, and that's what we would have expected had in any case a pregnant mother been murdered.
Yes.
We got a question from therapists, asking, has anything been found or able to be announced that CSAM, which I believe is child sex abuse material, regarding Maddie was sold for money? I don't know if you can answer that.
We have not seen that Stephan Sterns or anybody else was selling these photographs. In the evidence that we have seen so far, I'm sure that is an avenue that law enforcement may have been exploring, and perhaps they have found. But if that has been found, it has not been shared with us yet, or perhaps not even shared with Stephan Sterns as the criminal defendant.
B. Crumbs says, "Is there video that we know of Sterns carrying Maddie to his car?"
Video or photo, according to investigators, yes. Now, we have not seen it with our own eyes. The reason for that, again, a Florida law. Here in Florida, we have really strong public records that we can see a lot of this evidence, but there are certain things that law enforcement cannot release to us. And one of those is images that depict the killing of a minor. With that said, investigators say they do have images that show Stephan Sterns. What it appears law enforcement did was, we were talking about the license plate readers, that they were able to track the movements of Stephan Sterns' car, so they know where he's going. They know where he's on the grid. In other words, where these cameras are picking him up, but then also where he goes off the grid. And it appears, allegedly, he went off the grid in an area. They started searching, and they found a business. It's actually, I think, a timeshare business. That law enforcement says they have video or photos that shows Stephan Sterns pulling into the parking garage of this business. At that point, they last see Madeline sitting, according to investigators, in the passenger.
And before I let him finish, yes, they have video of that. They have video of Stephan going from his driver's side, walking over to the passenger, tossing her over his shoulder. I don't think he carried her like this. I think he's a big, fat, nasty man, and throwing her over and tossing her into the trunk, guys. Now, Annie Ruler says, when will they look at the income? That is very good. They're doing that now. I am sure they're doing that now. They're not letting it out, but they're looking at they're looking at their Bitcoins, they're looking at their Cash App, they're looking at everything. They have forensic people that do income. It's like an income, an accountant, a forensic accountant. And I'm telling you right now, they might not be looking at Jen Soto's forensic accounting, but they're looking at Stephan Sterns, especially with all those other children that they found. Right? So yeah, you thought from condo to car. No, Madeline was put in the front seat with sitting up, and that dog leash that we saw, in my opinion, he took that dog leash, buckled her in, drove around for a while, realized it's too risky, stopped and went to the hotel, which was a Hilton, drove upstairs, walked over, took her out, put her over her shoulder, went in the trunk, tossed her in the trunk, drove around, went back home, left her in the trunk while he was meandering and talking to Jen Soto, then left again at 1 something to arrive to her dump site around 1:30 when all that flat tire stuff went down. I think we need a refresher course on the timeline. I don't blame you.
Passenger seat, dead. And they say they do have images showing what they say was Stephan Sterns parking his car in this parking garage, walking over, taking her body out of the passenger seat, and then putting it in the trunk of the car, and then driving away, and then actually driving back home to the condo that he occasionally stayed at with Jennifer Soto, and was there for a couple hours before leaving again, when authorities believe he likely may have disposed of the body, according to investigators.
You know, I don't know if this is something that you can touch on. I know you had what was in discovery with his phone call with his dad, Stephan Sterns, talking about him. Do we know, Erichin74 said, do we have any info on who he's communicating with in jail? I don't know if that's, I believe that the one thing that you aired was his dad.
We know that he's talked to his parents. Whether there has been anybody else, and forgive me, I may have forgotten or missed something, so I don't want to speak definitively, but that is the only one that I'm aware of.
Yes.
There is no indication from anything that we have seen that he had been in contact with Jennifer Soto after he went to prison, or went to jail. I'm sorry, the Osceola County Jail on pre-trial detention as he's awaiting trial. And I believe, and this is just my memory, I think during one of the final interviews, Jennifer Soto told investigators, "I haven't talked to him." So there may be more. There likely is more that we have not seen yet. So that's about all I can answer right now.
Right. I'm trying to go through. I don't want to miss anything. And I know that they're kind of coming in, and some of this has been, you did talk about in your reporting, you cleared up a bunch of stuff. I encourage, if you just now joined, to take a look at Mike's 6-part series. I mean, it's got basically everything that he found in there regarding all these questions. And I'm trying to focus on the ones that necessarily that you couldn't touch on, or maybe they weren't in there.
And we talk about this. We talk about the series too. This was a unique opportunity for us. Again, this was all driven by the interest that we're seeing right here in our Central Florida community. I know there's a lot of interest nationwide in this. I'm a local news reporter here in the Orlando area, and this is our community where we live.
And thank God it's your community where you live. And thank God you're doing this. I'm so grateful that this guy is doing this for that community. I want everybody to know what a piece of trash Jen Soto is. We know what Stephan Sterns, that monster, and what he's being convicted of. Now, Carolina says, do you think that the phone forensic expert can match up timestamps when Stinky Sterns made CSAM images and videos and see where Jennifer Soto was during him? They can. Right now, they're not looking into her. They're not. In my opinion, they're not looking into her, but absolutely, once they get those time sheets down, they're going to be able to know exactly where she was at that time. I'm going to probably say she was right there at home sleeping, but they can't arrest her just on that, just because she was home. So I'm going to go with that. They're not looking into her right now. Just not enough evidence, guys. They're putting all of their efforts, in my opinion, to the CSAM case and to the Capitol murder.
And go to school, and this was. People were concerned when this happened here. And so that's what drove us to put this together. In our typical television news business, when we tell a news story, they're usually only about a minute or 2 minutes long. And we were starting to see the volumes and volumes of evidence coming out in this case, and the hours and hours of interviews. It struck us that there was a lot more here that we couldn't deliver in our normal newscasts. I do also know that there are folks who are very much interested in this, and there have been other podcasters and YouTubers who have done an incredible job putting out the entire raw 3-hour interview, and some folks are interested in watching all of that, and that's out there if you want to look for it. But we just wanted to be able to try to kind of take a happy medium, not a happy medium, but come to the middle of this, and not an extremely brief summary, but to try to give some of the very significant portions of the police interviews and the evidence that we have seen that we believe will probably play a big role should these cases go to trial.
And they will. Maybe one of them if something really big happens in it. But let me remind you guys, we're 2 hours and 31 minutes in here. I don't normally stay this long, and I've been sick. So if you guys could do me a huge favor and hit that like button for your girl, if you like the way that I present true crime, how I do it, how I interact with you guys, and the information I give, please do hit that like button for me. We have 346 people in chat. If we can even get close to that number, if you can, get yourself a membership. We're going to do it members only tomorrow. Please be here. Show up for your girl, Naziah Harris. She needs justice like Madeline does. And my goal is to get her case out of Detroit and get it on a national and international level. It's in Detroit, it's happening, but by all means, I need to get it everywhere, and I want to get it out of that one community it's stuck in. It should be in every community. All right, so tomorrow we're going to do a 4 o'clock. It's not going to be this long, but you guys, we're going to finish. We're doing it right now. 4 o'clock, like every other day, Julie, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're still going right now. Just do me a favor and hit that like button just in case you guys do head out. We got a little bit left of this.
I'm interested to hear your take on this as someone who's been in this market for a long time, covered a lot of trials, Mike, and tons of investigative experience. With all this publicity, this is a question from Jeep Sahara. With all this publicity, could that cause a change in venue at the time of the trial?
That is always a question, particularly defense attorneys want to raise, and they have every right to file a motion in court seeking a change of venue. What happens so many times, though, and it's always surprising to us, is that we may think everybody knows about a particular case,
but they don't.
It is amazing when you start getting jurors in who are showing up for their jury duty, how many don't actually know about the particular case, even if it's a high profile crime. And so what typically happens is that the judges really want to keep it within the circuit where it happened. In this case, the trials would be held in Osceola County near Kissimmee, that the judges typically will try first to pick a jury, and they'll be the attorneys, both the prosecutors and the defense attorneys will be able to ask questions of those jurors. What kind of publicity have you seen? What do you know about this case? Even if you have heard about it, can you set aside your preconceived notions and be a fair and impartial juror? They will then try to seat a jury. Sometimes you can. Sometimes they have a difficult time, and then that's when usually a defense attorney will seek a change of venue motion where it will get moved to a different county within Florida that has a similar demographic makeup. That's what we saw in the Casey Anthony trial a little bit more than a decade ago. In that case, it was actually held here in Orlando, but they went and picked the jury in Pinellas County, Clearwater, because they knew in that case, the Casey Anthony case, if you weren't around for that, I believe was way, way more publicized than this one. So that's always a possibility, change of venue, but that's just a wait and see.
Absolutely. A lot of the focus in the chat, Mike, has been about where Jennifer Soto could be current.
And we'll talk about that in 1 second. There's 333 people here. That's a prayer for Maddie and all victims that we get justice. We stay on it. Kylie Cosmos, very funny story. I know this isn't about me, but you say love me some Zavvy girl. I don't know what happened to her, but if you know my story, you know your girl Jay, guilty of crime. The very first channel that I ever was on YouTube, I was actually on Zaff Girl. She had an open panel, and I know about all true crime. I'm a true crime junkie, so almost any case that you ask me about, I know. So I go on to Zav Girl's channel and blah, 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 blahing. And Carly comes along, who's my channel manager here, and she swooped me up. So just quick, funny story. First channel you ever saw your girl Jay from Guilty of Crime on was Zav Girl. I went on there for an open panel, and the story's over. Here you go. Now I have my own channel. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about. All I know is I just wanted to talk about true crime. And so here we are, almost 21,000 subscribers later, and Madeline Soto. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done here. And I noticed Jeep Sahara got on to the News 6. I heard them shout her out. Let's finish this up with this last question here that I hear them saying. What was that? What did he say?
Currently, and there's a lot of speculation on that front. Not sure if you can add anything that's not speculation.
I don't know anything definitive.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to just throw it out there for the chat. They seem to be going down that.
Where's Jen Soto? Now. Where is she?
I think. Let's see. I want to stick around. I mean, let's see. Let's see if anything else comes in that you can answer. But I think you cleared up a ton. And
okay, so he couldn't answer that, but the question was, where is Jen Soto, guys? And I'm going to tell you where Jen Soto is. Jen Soto is with Stephanie Soto. I don't have an address. I'm not doxing anybody, but Jen Soto is staying with her family, and she's clearly hiding out. Yeah, hiding out like Nicole Kessinger, hiding out like Casey Anthony. Jen Soto is with the Soto family, and particularly, in my opinion, with Stephanie Soto right now. So he couldn't answer it, but I could. I've been following this case way too long to not know where she was. Yeah, I haven't either. I haven't either, Michelle. It was just a fluke thing. Yeah, she doesn't even talk to me anymore. So I'm not going to get into all that. I don't know what happened. I don't know why she stopped texting me back, but whatever. I started on her channel, and here I am now. I don't need a text back. But anyway, shout out to you, Zev, for letting me find Carly. All right, so Jen Soto is somewhere with the family. Stephanie Soto, guys. Stephanie Soto.
On top of the questions, there has been more appreciation from the chat about just bringing the story back to the forefront. You know, it's almost been a year now, so
and we're gonna stay on top of this. We kind of, again, we don't want to rush everything out. We want to take time. If there is more evidence, discovery to be released in this case, we kind of want to sit on it for a little bit and just absorb it and try to put this into order. I think that's something that we can do. That was one of the things I found really interesting in one of the episodes we just showed you here. It kind of surprised me at first. We're seeing these police interviews. You've got Stephan Sterns in one room, you've got Jennifer Soto in another, and I'm looking at the timestamp and I'm trying to lay out the chronology of this, and I'm realizing those two interviews are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And in one of those interviews, Jennifer Soto says, well, you brought us here for a press conference. I thought I was coming here for a press conference. And then I thought, I wonder what press conference was. And I was able to go into our computer system where we save some of our video. We save some of the larger press conferences. And I saw that was when Orange County Sheriff John Mina was hosting his very first press conference on this missing child case. And I looked at the time that it started, and I realized that all three of these events were happening at the same time. And I don't know, I don't want to go so far as to say it was a ruse to get Jennifer Soto and Stephan Sterns to the sheriff's office by saying, hey, we're going to hold this press conference, because there very much was a press conference that was held that day. But it was interesting that just as the sheriff is going up to speak to the reporters who were gathered into the room, and which was then a live stream by us and other news organizations, they had already put Jennifer Soto in one room. They put Stephan Sterns in another. By this point, they didn't know where Madeline was, but they knew about the evidence that they say they found on Stephan Sterns' phone of him raping Madeline and other child pornography images. And the first thing they do is go into Jennifer's room. They break the news to her. Hey, we found this on his phone.
Now, let me tell you, that was not a coincidence, folks. They did that for sure on purpose. Now they knew that if they told Jennifer Soto it was a press conference, that they would that she would go in. However, like I said, the news station, News Now 6, the other lady, the blonde lady on here, already told law enforcement something's wrong with these people. Something's going on. They're giving me bad vibes. He's unnecessarily crying. She has no emotion. They're using past tense. Get them in there. So I can answer that for this guy and kind of speculate. They did that on purpose. They knew what they were doing when they called him in, and they said, yeah, we're going to have a press conference. They technically didn't lie.
Get her reaction, go over to his room, then say, hey, what do you have on this phone? That's when you heard Stephan Sterns say, do I need a lawyer? And that's when they arrest him on the sex, battery, and child pornography charges. Again, while the sheriff was downstairs with the media trying to put out just the preliminary information about this missing child case.
I'm not seeing any more questions, Mike, but how about this? With a change in state attorney, as you alluded to a little bit earlier, talking, Andrew Bain is now not there. And he is the one,
he was the one that,
correct me if I'm wrong, who when it comes to the first degree premeditated murder, had the death penalty in there. With Monique Worrell taking over, have we seen that before? And I guess we have, because this has happened before, where maybe that's no longer what they're trying to, the different approach in different state attorneys' offices. Is that something that we should also watch for as these trials play out?
It always is. Just to very quickly brief viewers who are not familiar with our Central Florida politics here, what was it about? about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
A state attorney by the name of Monique Worrell was elected to be the state attorney. Governor Ron DeSantis removed her from office from what he says was malfeasance in office and not doing her job, basically. And then so the governor installs Andrew Bain, who was the prosecutor sitting in the office at the time that this crime was being investigated, and Stephan Sterns was arrested, and the grand jury came back with the indictment. And it was Andrew Bain, Governor DeSantis's appointee, who decided we are going to seek the death penalty. He was recently voted out of office. Monique Worrell is now back. She was reelected. Now, when she was in office the prior time, her predecessor was opposed to the death penalty and vowed not to seek the death penalty in any local cases, which was another a political firestorm here in Central Florida. Monique Worrell did seek the death penalty in some cases, so she is not opposed to it. I think she, compared to some, may have a little pause. So with that said, there is always that possibility that the new state attorney, who's been in office for a little less than 2 weeks, I think, could decide to take the death penalty off the table, or perhaps use it in a different way in terms of negotiations with a plea deal or such. We do not know. But I do want to make clear at this point, there is no indication. We've seen no indication that the new state attorney has any plans to take death penalty off the table in this case. But you're right. With the changing of the guard, something like that could change. What almost certainly will not change is that Stephan Sterns will still be headed to trial on these particular charges. The same assistant state attorneys, the prosecutors, the line prosecutors who are in the courtroom, who are looking at this evidence, who are meeting with victims and families and witnesses, those folks will likely, I believe, all stay the same.
Good deal. Thank you for clearing that up, Mike. And let's see. I think that's good. I think we're good on.
Yep, I think we're good, and I do think that he actually cleared that up real nicely, folks. That was a great segment that they put together, and I want everybody in Florida to see that. I hope everybody sees that. You guys, I don't think they're going to give a plea deal unless the family says, I don't want to see those things in open court, guys. He's still, in my opinion, going to get the death penalty for the capital, we'll call murder case, which the whole bunch of, they used the RAPE word. I wish they wouldn't have used all those words, but they did. No plea deal. I know we don't want a plea deal because we don't want to open and shut. We're not going to see those cases anyway, guys, ladies, people. We're not going to see those because the family is not going to want those pictures to be out there. The jury's not going to want to see those. But let's just pray that we get the justice that I guess the justice that Madeline deserves, whatever that may be, whether it's a death penalty, whether it's just a plea deal for one, so she doesn't have to, so the family doesn't have to be re-victimized, whatever it may be. Yeah, we've seen crazier things, Kylie. You're absolutely right. They're not going to show that. That's not going to be an open court thing. So that being said, I'll be back here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain. All right, you guys come check it out. I love you. We're almost at 3 hours, and I'm going to go get some rest. I'm going back to work tomorrow, y'all. Love you guys. And Maurice, I always love seeing you from Australia. Just looking at the picture should make anyone more. Love you guys. You guys have a good night, and thanks for all the support today. It helps so very much. Good night, y'all.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?